Chapter 26. Electabuzz vs Hot Monkey, Advance Again. Boom. Wang Lu is amazing. Electabuzz is awesome. Ah, Wang Lu. I love Wang Lu. At the end of the game, the audience immediately boiled up, and countless people began to shout Wang Lu's name. Especially some girls couldn't help screaming. At this moment, in their eyes, it seems that Wang Lu is not a freshman, but a rising celebrity trainer. Student Wang Lu, your Electabuzz is too strong, I completely lost. After the match, Lan Yu took the initiative to come over to shake hands with Wang Lu, and smiled reluctantly. Wang Lu also smiled and said, "You are not bad, if rival is not me, you should be able to get a better ranking." Wang Lu is also telling the truth. Blue Rain's Swampert has quite good talent and strength, and if he cultivates it well, he will definitely have a lot to do. Really? Hearing Wang Lu's compliment, Lan Yu was surprised and asked, "Student Wang Lu, can I continue to challenge you in the future?" "Of course." Wang Lu Salation nodded. That's what he said, but Wang Lu knew that there would be fewer opportunities in the future. The reason why Wang Lu came to this academy was actually just to find someone to train his hands. After he became the #1 trainer in the academy, he would no longer stay in the academy, but traveled and challenged everywhere, and eventually became the #1 trainer in the world. After being promoted, Wang Lu returned to his seat from the stadium, and watched the games of other players together with Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai. It is worth mentioning that Cao Lai has already been eliminated. After all, he is only a third-rate trainer, and the strongest Pokémon under his command is just a sunrise pig that has not yet reached the elite. This freshman class is too perverted. Zhao Hongii couldn't help saying during the game. Obviously, the juniors and juniors are all so strong. As a senior, Zhao Hongii feels a lot of pressure. If you can get Arcanine's approval, you shouldn't be so nervous. Wang Lu laughed. Acknowledged by Arcanine? Easier said than done. Zhao Hongii suddenly smiled wryly, and when she mentioned this, she felt extremely dizzy. Is it difficult? Wang Lu smiled disdainfully, and said, "If you want to get the approval of a Pokémon, there are nothing more than two methods. The first one is naturally crushing it with hard power." Before Wang Lu finished speaking, Zhao Hongii quickly asked, "What about the second one?" Zhao Hongii decisively gave up the first method. After all, Arcanine was too strong for her. Back then, when she subdued Arcanine, she asked Master for help. How could she crush Arcanine by herself? Wang Lu said with a smile, "The second is to cultivate intimacy. In fact, Arcanine is just disobedient and did not run away, which means it doesn't hate you. As long as you deepen the intimacy between you and Arcanine, you will naturally be recognized by Arcanine. First, you can exchange Arcanine's Pokeball for a luxury ball." And then? Zhao Hongii nodded repeatedly. The luxury ball is worth 10,000 xia coins, which is nothing to Zhao Hongii. If she had known the intimacy that the luxury ball could increase, she would have changed it long ago. Then, this item will be given to you, and you will give it to Arcanine to carry. Wang Lu took out a lindang from the system space and handed it to Zhao Hongii. Zhao Hongii was startled. "This is..." Wang Lu said, "This is the Soothe Bell. If it is carried by a Pokémon, it can quickly increase the intimacy level." "Ah, this bell must be very expensive. I'll call you how much it costs." Zhao Hongii said. Although she had a crush on Wang Lu, she didn't like the idea of accepting boys casually. "Well, I don't know how much this thing is worth, but to me, it's not a precious thing. If you don't believe it, look at it." With that said, Wang Lu took out a large handful of Soothe Bells and gave one to Cao Lai. After all, Wang Lu can easily reveal this kind of thing from the copy, so Wang Lu naturally won't cherish it too much. "Thank you, Wang Lu." "Thank you, boss." Seeing that Wang Lu owned so many Soothe Bells, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai stopped being polite and accepted them gratefully. The knockout round of the first round of the main competition was quickly completed, and a total of 32 players successfully advanced to the next round. Wang Lu also soon ushered in the next round of competition rival, a muscular man named Gao Ji. "Wang Lu, I didn't expect to meet you so soon." After taking the stage, Gao Ji looked at Wang Lu and smiled bitterly. "I originally wanted to sprint to the top 8 of the freshmen, but now it seems that I have no hope at all." When Gao Ji said this, it was obvious that he had been paying attention to Wang Lu's competition. After all, he knew the gap between himself and Wang Lu, and had no idea of defeating Wang Lu at all. However, I don't want to give in easily. Let's do this. I will directly send out trump card. As long as you defeat my trump card, I will give up directly. Gao Ji came up with a compromise, Wang Lu nodded, and both sides sent out Pokémon at the same time. Go ahead, Fiery Monkey. Go, Electabuzz. Hot Monkey. Attribute, Fighting. Level, 36, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Preemptive Strike, Electabuzz, use Thunderbolt. Wang Lu took the lead in launching the attack, and saw Electabuzz instantly release a bolt of lightning, with unparalleled power, blasting towards the explosive monkey on the opposite side. Avoid with double team. Explosive monkey split into a dozen clones in an instant, and Thunderbolt crushed one of them. Unfortunately, only one clone was hit. Gog shouted directly, "Come on, Fire Punch, use Fire Punch." Gao Ji gave an order, and a dozen fiery monkey fists were on fire, roaring loudly, and heading towards Electabuzz beat up in concentration. Of these dozen fiery monkeys, only one is actually real, the rest are just shadows, and the shadows' attacks will not cause actual damage at all. But Electabuzz didn't know it, and for a moment, he became a little panicked. Wang Lu quickly shouted, "Don't be afraid of Electabuzz, use Thunderbolt to attack all explosive monkeys." Electabuzz's eyes lit up, electricity erupted from his body, and he released a huge thunderbolt that enveloped all the explosive monkeys. All the clones disappeared, and the original fiery monkey was also hit by thunderbolt. He howled in pain and fell to the ground after a while, completely unconscious. Fire Monkey lost the ability to fight. The referee directly announced the result. "Wang Lu, you win." After taking the Fire Monkey back, Gao Ji gave a wry smile and abstained directly, allowing Wang Lu to win quickly. In the second round of the main competition, Wang Lu easily advanced again. Chapter 27. Unexpectedly Powerful Enemy, Venusaur. After a while, all games in the second round of the main draw have been played. A total of 16 players successfully advanced to the third round. The third round begins immediately. This third round of competition is the last round of competition today. Because the sky is getting dark, time is no longer allowed. As for the quarter-finals competition, it will be continued tomorrow. Wang Lu's third round rival is named Li Mi. He is thin and wears a pair of eyes, giving him the impression of a weak scholar. "Li Mi, I have paid attention to him." In the audience, Zhao Hong'ai said, "This person is not very powerful, but he is good at tactics. He is good at using changing skills to weaken rivals' Pokémon and win the game. It's useless. Boss Wang Lu can crush him with just his strength." Cao Lai smiled confidently. After watching the battle all the way, Cao Lai has now become Wang Lu's NC fan. He even thinks that even Mirong Shui may be defeated by Wang Lu. "Haha, I hope Li Mi's tactics can work." Zhao Hong'ai said suddenly. Cao Lai was stunned when he heard this and said in shock, "Why? Senior sister, do you want the boss to lose?" Zhao Hong'ai shook his head and said, "That's not true. I just hope that Li Mi can be more forceful and force Wang Lu to bring out more Pokémon. Don't you want to know what other Pokémon your boss has hidden?" "Yeah. Of course I want to." Cao Lai nodded his head in agreement. Wang Lu has played so many games, but from beginning to end, he has only sent out 2 Pokémon, Dratini and Electabuzz. Everyone is curious, does Wang Lu have a Pokémon more powerful than Dratini and Electabuzz? The game started, and Wang Lu took the lead in sending out his Pokémon, Electabuzz. "Is it really Electabuzz? Then go ahead, stupid hippopotamus." Facing Wang Lu's Electabuzz, Li Mi unexpectedly sent out the stupid hippopotamus. His operation shocked everyone. "What are you doing? Don't you know that water is afraid of electricity? There are more than 10,000 freshmen in the school. How did you advance to the main competition?" "That's right. You don't even know basic attribute restraint, so you become a hammer trainer. More importantly, everyone has seen how powerful Wang Lu's Electabuzz is. Doesn't he know? Why don't you give up if you don't want to fight?" Facing the audience's doubts, Li Mi turned a deaf ear and directly waved his hand and shouted, "Stay Hippo, use Yawn." "Yawn? Is this a magic horse skill?" Everyone was speechless again. I saw the hippopotamus beat yawn sleepily, and a big snot bubble appeared on his nose, which then popped open with a pop sound. At this moment, Electabuzz seemed to be infected by the sleepiness of the dumb hippopotamus, and deep down in his heart, there was also a hint of tiredness. Yawn is a hypnotic transformation skill, but its effect is not strong enough to cause instant hypnosis. It will first make rival fall into doze contest condition, and then fall into sleep contest condition. At this time, Electabuzz looked bleary-eyed and yawned all day long. He had obviously fallen into a dozing contest condition. It would not take long for him to sleep like a dead pig and fall into a complete sleep contest condition. Silly hippopotamus. Attribute, Water plus Superpower. Level, 35, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Is the purpose of releasing the stupid hippopotamus just to hypnotize Electabuzz? Wang Lu pondered slightly. Electabuzz is about to fall asleep and fall into sleep contest condition. This is an established fact and cannot be changed. In that case, before falling asleep, Electabuzz, use Thunderbolt. Wang Lu ordered. Heard the words. Electabuzz immediately shook his head, forced himself to smelling salts a little, and then decisively released a bolt of lightning, striking towards the stupid hippo. Facing Wang Lu's attack, Li Mi seemed unhurried, as if he had already calculated normal. Li Mi raised his hand and shouted confidently, "Silly hippopotamus, use Protect to block it." The voice just fell. A translucent blue spherical shield appeared around the dumb hippopotamus, directly blocking Thunderbolt's power. Hululu. The next second, Electabuzz couldn't hold on any longer, so he fell down on his back and fell into a deep sleep. Come back to the hippopotamus, go Venusaur. At this time, Li Mi did not attack Electabuzz while Electabuzz was asleep. Instead, he took back the dumb hippopotamus and sent Venusaur out instead. Venor. Attribute, Grass plus Poison. Level, 43, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Here you go, Venusaur. This is Li Mi's trump card. First use Silly Hippo's yawn to put rival into sleep, and then use Venusaur for explosive output. In the audience, Zhao Hongyi explained to Cao Lai with excitement. Li Mi's style of play is quite ink-stained and unpleasant, so not many people pay attention to it. He has obviously advanced to the top 16 and stood out from tens of thousands of freshmen. His strength can be said to be very strong, but the audience basically doesn't know him yet. But Zhao Hongyi has been paying attention to Li Mi from very early on, and she recognizes Li Mi's strength very much. In her opinion, Li Mi is very powerful, as strong as the top 8 freshmen, or even the top 4. It's a pity that Li Mi was unlucky and met the monster Wang Lu prematurely. Although Zhao Hongyi recognized Li Mi quite a bit, she never believed that Li Mi had the strength to defeat Wang Lu. She just hoped that Li Mi could defeat as many Pokémon as possible in Wang Lu and force Wang Lu to send out new Pokémon, which would be very, very good. Venusaur, Leech Seed. Next, use Giga Drain continuously. Li Mi ordered. Heard the words. Venusaur immediately shot out a green light energy seed from the huge bud on its back, accurately hitting Electabuzz's body, and then engulfed Electabuzz's body. The next moment, the leech seed sprouted quickly and grew vines, which condensed into a web and hung on Electabuzz. I saw this net continuously emitting red light, constantly devouring Electabuzz's physical strength, while denying Venusaur and continuing to restore Venusaur's physical strength. This is not over yet. On the basis of Leech Seed, Venusaur continuously uses Giga Drain to continuously absorb the energy of Electabuzz to replenish her physical strength. At this time, Electabuzz was still lying on his back with a painful look on his face, as if he had a nightmare, but he never woke up. As a result, Electabuzz was continuously being devoured by Venusaur in his sleep. Holy crap! This guy is awesome, he actually has such tactics, awesome. Silly Hippo hypnotizes, Venusaur outputs, awesome. Apologize. Damn, you are worthy of being a strong person who has been promoted all the way to now. He really has 2 brushes. Sorry. Sorry. The audience was excited again. After understanding Li Mi's tactics, everyone finally recognized Li Mi's strength. Chapter 28. Dratini appears and kills Venusaur instantly. Seeing countless spectators cheering for him, Li Mi raised his glasses without any trace, feeling relieved in his heart. Finally, my strength was finally recognized. At this time, Li Mi was even a little grateful to Wang Lu. Yes, if there wasn't a powerful rival like Wang Lu, he wouldn't have attracted so much attention. Wang Lu, just feel free to be my stepping stone. Li Mi smiled in his heart, feeling a little proud. Leech Seed, plus continuous Giga Drain. After a few seconds, Electabuzz' physical strength was exhausted and he passed out directly under the sleep contest condition. Period. Wang Lu actually had a chance to take Electabuzz back, but Wang Lu didn't do that. He underestimated the strength of his opponent Venusaur. He originally thought that Electabuzz could withstand Venusaur's attack, and would soon wake up from his sleep contest condition and defeat Venusaur with one punch. Unexpectedly, Venusaur's damage was so high that Electabuzz was killed in a few seconds. This failure also made Wang Lu smelling salts even more. It turns out that the gap between the elites is not as big as imagined. In this world, every level is a hurdle: low level, intermediate, high level, elite. The gap in each realm is relatively huge. But the elite level is deep, and all elites are from level 30 to level 59. The level gap of level 20 is really not as big as imagined. If you are blindly confident, you will only capsize in the gutter. Go, Dratini! Wang Lu immediately sent out the second Pokémon. Venusaur, crush it, use Vine Whip. After defeating the powerful Electabuzz, Li Mi became a little swollen. He no longer set tactics, but chose to go head-to-head with Wang Lu. Of course, this is also related to the fact that rival is a Dratini. After all, Dratini is too young and harmless to humans and animals, and it is easy for people to relax their vigilance. In Li Mi's opinion, Wang Lu's Electabuzz is very powerful, while Dratini is relatively normal, and his Venusaur can be dealt with completely. Heard the words. Venusaur immediately released a large amount of Vine Whip and rushed towards Dratini quickly. Don't be afraid of Dratini, just use Flamethrower to attack. Wang Lu shouted loudly. Heard the words. Dratini immediately opened its mouth and sprayed out a huge crimson fire pillar that was completely different from its small body. It carried a terrifying high temperature and burned the air. It soon collided with the Vine Whip shot by Venusaur. I saw that the flamethrower's fire did not decrease at all, and burned out the Vine Whip in an instant, but the fire increased by 3 points. Under Venusaur's horrified gaze, Flamethrower hit it hard. Boom! Dratini's flamethrower was so powerful and so effective that Venusaur couldn't resist it, and her huge body fell to the ground. Venusaur is incapacitated to fight. The referee announced. What? Li Mi was shocked. He had no idea that Wang Lu's Dratini could be so powerful. In its first form, it could instantly kill Venusaur. Too careless. Li Mi secretly complained in his heart, the level of this Dratini is too high, which completely makes up for the weakness of his own race. No, I should have treated it as a Dragonair. The strongest trump card Venusaur was shot in seconds, causing Li Mi, who was originally a little elated, to fall to the bottom instantly. This huge contrast made Li Mi feel very bad and uncomfortable. After gritting his teeth, he took back Venusaur and sent out a new Pokémon. I'll trouble you again, go ahead, stupid hippopotamus. There was a flash of white light, and the dumb hippopotamus appeared again on Li Mi's field. Do you think the same move will still work? Dratini, strike first and use Thunderbolt. Looking at the dumb hippo, Wang Lu snorted coldly and commanded Dratini to say. The voice just fell. I saw a strong electric spark burst out from the 2 small dragon horns on Dratini's head, and then a powerful lightning bolt shot straight towards the hippopotamus. Dumb hippo is a dumb Pokémon, and in the face of such a threat, it remains rock solid and motionless. But Li Mi was sweating profusely, and said, Quick, stay away from hippo, use protect. Li Mi was flustered. Flamethrower is very effective against Venusaur, killing Venusaur with one move. Thunderbolt is also very effective against Silly Hippo, and it will be easier to kill Silly Hippo with one move. Although, as long as the level difference is not too large, Protect is absolute defense. But the skill of Protect, the more you use it, the lower the success rate. When Hippo first played, he had already used Protect once, but this time, the success rate is no longer 100%, but dropped exponentially. Heard the words. The eyes of Silly Hippo glowed red, and he directly used Psychic to create a barrier, perfectly blocking the incoming Thunderbolt. Protect was successful again, and Die Hippo was unharmed. Heh, good luck, what's next? Dratini, use Dragon God to dive. Wang Lu sneered and ordered again. Call out. Dratini flew out like lightning, crushing the air all the way, and strong shock waves gradually appeared on the surface of his body. At this time, Dratini suddenly released an astonishing murderous aura, carrying infinite dragon power, and ruthlessly slammed into the dumb hippo. The dragon god swooped down, releasing a powerful and terrifying murderous aura, attacking while intimidating rival. Not only was it powerful, but sometimes it would make rival cringe, unable to move for a short period of time. Unfortunately, silly hippopotamus has slow nerve reflexes. Not to mention whether it is afraid or not, even if it is afraid, the cowering contest condition will be delayed until a few rounds later. But Li Mi was scared. Protect has been used twice, and if it is used forcibly again, the success rate will only be lower. In that case, stay hippo and use yawn. Boom! Dratini Dragon God swooped down, hit the hippo accurately, and instantly killed the hippo, and the hippo passed out completely. But Yawn, who was a hippopotamus, was also successfully released. Dratini was affected and fell into a drowsy contest condition. He was already shaking his head and drowsy, and he believed that he would fall into a deep sleep in a short time. Stay hippo loses its ability to fight. The referee's voice sounded, but Li Mi smiled instead. Sacrifice silly hippo in exchange for Dratini falling asleep. For Li Mi, this is a sure profit but no loss. After all, for Li Mi, the dumb hippo is also his main Pokémon, but the level of the dumb hippo is not very high, and the combat power is not very strong. Li Mi mainly took a fancy to the yawn skill of silly hippo, and used it for control. In Li Mi's opinion, Wang Lu's Electabuzz and Dratini are quite powerful, and it's worth it if the hippo drags two into the water. Chapter 29. Flash Milotic appears, shocked. Come on, Li Mi, kill Dratini. Rush! Cheering shouts sounded again from the audience at the scene. At this time, countless people hope that Li Mi will kill Wang Lu's Dratini, thus forcing Wang Lu's third Pokémon. This point, even Wang Lu's fans and supporters, is no exception. After all, Wang Lu is too low-key. Along the way, the strength he has exposed is too little, too little. Someone always thinks. Wang Lu only has two main Pokémon, Electabuzz and Dratini, and the rest are all garbage Pokémon like Caterpie and Weedle. As fans and supporters, they certainly hope that Wang Lu will send out more powerful Pokémon to crush the rumors and prove themselves at the same time. Come on, Glally! At this time, Li Mi finally sent out his last Pokémon. Glally is a round Pokémon made of a black stone core. There are two large black cone-shaped horns on either side of its head, and its skin is covered in a mesh of ice, exposing black stone skin behind it. Some people say that Glally is actually one of two doubles of Ghastly, the other being Cloyster. Ghastly, don't think I don't know you if you put an ice cube on your body. Ghastly, don't think I don't know you because you're hiding in a shell. Glally. Attribute, Ice. Level, 39, Elite. Qualification, Purple. At this point, Dratini was already drowsy, and it would not be long before he fell into a deep sleep. At this time, Wang Lu naturally would not miss this last chance to attack, and ordered, Dratini, use flamethrower. Facing Wang Lu's attack, Li Mi smiled faintly, Glally, use Protect. Fire defeats ice, flamethrower is a great threat to ice-type Glally, but whether it can hit it is another matter. Sure enough, Li Mi has a trick, directing Glally to easily block Dratini's flamethrower. Call. Almost at the same time, Dratini fell on his back and fell asleep. Now. Li Mi's eyes lit up, and he said, Glally, use the freezing light on Dratini. The icy light keeps coming. Ice Dragon, the effect is outstanding. In his sleep, Dratini's little face gradually showed a painful expression, as if he was having a nightmare, but he couldn't wake up. As a result, Dratini was continuously taken away a lot of energy in his sleep. Moreover, the cold air condensed on its body, starting from the tail, it was gradually covered by a layer of sparkling ice crystals. At this time, even if Dratini wakes up, the speed will be greatly reduced. Come back, Dratini! Before Dratini was about to be accused of death, Wang Lu took it back in time. Finally come! In the auditorium, Zhao Hongyi adjusted his sitting posture and became more concentrated than ever before. Electabuzz has lost the ability to fight. Dratini, too, has fallen into a deep sleep, with little energy left. You should know that taking Pokémon back into the Pokeball will not restore physical strength after a short period of rest, let alone restore its negative contest condition. Even if he is dispatched now, Dratini is still in sleep contest condition. So, Dratini is basically cold. Then, Wang Lu can only send out new Pokémon. Unexpectedly, you have pushed me to such an extent. Wang Lu glanced at Li Mi with some appreciation and said. In response, Li Mi just smiled. Where are we now? He wants to defeat Wang Lu head-on, thus gaining recognition from the academy and more people. But that's it, go ahead, Mitsumi, and get ready to fight. With a flash of white light, Mitsumi's graceful figure suddenly appeared on Wang Lu's court. Hiss, is that Milotic? Why are the colors different? Holy shit! Shiny Pokémon again. Flash Milotic. Wang Lu is so handsome. I can't stand it anymore, I want to give him a monkey. Invincibility means loneliness. Dratini, Flash Electabuzz, Flash Milotic. He has so many top-notch Pokémon at the same time. How can he let others live? The audience seat was completely boiling. Zhao Hongyi and Cao Lai were stunned and speechless for a long time. I didn't expect that Boss Wang Lu actually has Flash Milotic. I'm convinced. I'm completely convinced. Cao Lai swallowed hard and looked at Wang Lu again, his eyes filled with admiration. At this time, in his opinion, Wang Lu simply has the aura of the protagonist and is omnipotent. Zhao Hongyi's eyes were also shining brightly, and he was so shocked that he couldn't speak. She had actually thought for a long time that Wang Lu might have Pokémon that was rarer and more powerful than Dratini and Flash Electabuzz. But she really didn't expect that Wang Lu actually owned a Flash Milotic, which was really outrageous to know. The ordinary Milotic alone is already very rare, and it has very powerful strength. In this world, it is easy to start with tens of millions of people. Not to mention Milotic, even Phoebus starts at 8 million. As for Flash Milotic and Flash Phoebus, don't even think about it, they are absolutely sky-high prices. The sky-high price among sky-high prices. Wang Lu? Who is this guy? In the audience, even Mirong Xuet, who had always been calm, now had a look of horror in her beautiful eyes. Goo. On the field, Li Mi's eyes widened and he swallowed hard before finally recovering from the shock. This guy is really not simple. Li Mi was shocked. Water is resistant to ice. That Milotic is not only a shiny Pokémon, it also has a huge advantage and attribute. In this case, I will give up the ice skills. Li Mi calculated in his mind, and then shouted, Go, Glali, use the Iron Head Kung Fu. As soon as he finished speaking, Glali bumped straight towards Mitsumi. Glali's speed was very fast, crushing the air all the way, and a white air flow visible to the naked eye gradually appeared around her body, which was quite terrifying. Block down and use Aqua Tail. Boom! Mitsumi whipped out his liquid tail and collided head-on with Glali's Iron Head Kung Fu. The two powerful energies collided, causing an explosion, and majestic water vapor filled the air. The next moment, Glali flew out directly, and the audience was shocked. Aqua Tail is so powerful, she deserves to be a shiny Pokémon. Wang Lu, however, looked calm, as expected. Currently, Wang Lu only has 5 Pokémon in total. Apart from the 2 legendary Pokémon Zapdos and Celebi, Mitsumi is the Pokémon with the highest qualifications and the strongest strength. Mitsumi's combat power can almost crush the opposite Glali. It would be strange if she didn't knock Glali away. Chapter 30. Promotion, The Last Serve. Scary Flash Milotic. Seeing that Glali was sent flying with one move and suffered heavy losses, Li Mi couldn't help taking a breath, and thought to himself, if you only talk about strength, this Milotic is even stronger than Electabuzz and Dratini. Cheer up, Glali, use the Shadow Ball. Li Mi ordered. Heard the words. Glali immediately condensed a black energy ball and threw it at Mitsumi. Glali's Shadow Ball seems to be very powerful, but the speed is normal. Too slow. Wang Lu sneered and said, Mitsumi, after avoiding it, use Hydro Pump. Mitsumi flashed nimbly and easily avoided the Shadow Ball, then opened his mouth and sprayed out a high-pressure Hydro Pump, blasting towards Glali suddenly. Mitsumi's Hydro Pump is completely different, not only powerful, but also fast. So fast! Li Mi couldn't help but exclaimed. Such a fast hydro pump, even if Glali is at the peak of the contest condition, it is difficult to dodge it, let alone Glali is injured now, and the contest condition is not good. Li Mi hurriedly said, Glali, use double team to dodge. Shhhhhhh. Glali instantly separated a dozen clones. Hydro pump directly crushed one, but unfortunately it didn't hit Glali's real body. Glali, keep it like this, use the shadow ball. Li Mi ordered again. Next moment, more than a dozen Glali condensed Black's shadow balls at the same time, and concentrated on hitting Mitsumi. Among the dozens of shadow balls, of course only one is real, and the rest are just phantoms, but Mitsumi doesn't know. For a moment, Mitsumi's face showed a look of apprehension. Boom! Suddenly, an extremely powerful waveguide burst out from Wang Lu's body, covering the entire playing field in an instant, as if forming a huge waveguide magnetic field. Wang Lu was taken aback. At this time, he found Glali's real body and the real shadow ball directly from among the shadow clones. Because within this waveguide magnetic field, Wang Lu found that Glali's real body and the real shadow ball are both solid energy bodies. And Glali's shadow clone, as well as the shadow balls emitted by all the shadow clones, are all illusory shadows. In short, within the waveguide magnetic field that suddenly appeared, Wang Lu easily found Glali's real body and the real shadow ball. Unfortunately, this is too complicated to describe. The battle situation is changing rapidly, and within a short period of time, Wang Lu can't tell Mitsumi who is the real body and who is the prosthesis in words. Not only Wang Lu can't do it, anyone else can't do it, not even the King of Mouth. Unless directly use the waveguide to send the picture you see to Mitsumi directly. It's a pity that Wang Lu can't do this at all now. The first is that he is not proficient in the use of waveguides. Right. Wang Lu's waveguide is very strong, but basically unusable. The waveguide magnetic field that suddenly appeared at the moment was only accidentally used by Wang Lu, and he didn't know the specific use method at all. That is, under normal conditions, Wang Lu cannot create a waveguide magnetic field at all. Sometimes, Wang Lu would suddenly hear Pokémon talking by accident, but when he wanted to hear it, he couldn't hear it. There's no way. After all, Wang Lu has only traveled through time for a few days. Moreover, he has been frantically brushing dungeons and upgrading these days, so where does he have time to study waveguide? The second is that Wang Lu and Mitsumi have not yet reached the realm of spiritual connection. Actually, even though Wang Lu has mastered the waveguide proficiently, even if he can create a waveguide magnetic field at any time, it is easy to distinguish the real body from the prosthesis. Even so, what Wang Lu sees and thinks cannot be transmitted to Mitsumi through the waveguide. To put it simply, the fetters are not deep enough, and the two parties have not reached the realm of spiritual connection. If it was Ash and Pikachu, or Greninja, it would definitely work. If the bond between the two parties is deep and the hearts are connected, not only can this be achieved, but also Mega Evolution can be achieved. Yes, in this world, as long as it is the final form of Pokémon, there is a matching Mega Evolution Stone. Milotic also has Mega Evolution Stones. Certainly. The Mega Evolutionary Stones in this world are quite rare and precious, starting at 100 million, and they are priceless. Only at that kind of large auction, can I see a few occasionally, and it may not be what I want. Now, Wang Lu has also exploded a lot of props by brushing dungeons. Fire Stone, Water Stone, this kind of ordinary evolution stone, Wang Lu exploded a lot, but the Mega Evolution Stone, that is, the Mega Evolution Stone, did not explode even a single one. Boom! Just as Wang Lu was thinking, the shadow ball hit Mitsumi accurately, causing a certain degree of damage to Mitsumi. Huh? Does it work? Li Mi's eyes lit up, and he said, Glali, keep it like this. Shoot shadow balls continuously. Heard the words. The Glalis once again condensed Black's shadow balls and threw them at Mitsumi continuously. At this time, the fear in Mitsumi's eyes deepened. Don't be afraid, Mitsumi, use surf directly. Wang Lu ordered. Call. I saw Mitsumi riding the waves. The huge waves surged into the sky, like the bloody mouth of an ancient ferocious beast, carrying a terrifying power. From top to bottom, it drowned all the shadow balls in an instant. Needless to say, the fake shadow ball disappeared immediately. Even if it was a real shadow ball, it was nothing more than a splash of water at the foot of the giant wave. I saw that Mitsumi was riding the huge waves, and she threw herself towards Glali fiercely. Boom! A loud voice sounded, and all of Glali's shadow clones disappeared, and Glali's real body also fell to the ground, her eyes were swirling, and she passed out completely. Glali is out of combat. The game is over, Wang Lu is the winner. After a while, the referee directly announced the result of the game, which made the scene boil again. Li Mi knelt on the ground weakly, expressionless. At this time, his whole body was basically soaked, like a soaked chicken, normal, extremely miserable. Very well done, Mitsumi. While taking Mitsumi back, Wang Lu said to Li Mi, "Ha, you don't have to do this, you are proud enough to push me to this extent." Puff! Heard the words. Li Mi almost didn't spit up a mouthful of old blood. What is this? Murderous heart ah! Li Mi's self-esteem was very strong, and he felt that he had been insulted. He quickly stood up and shouted, "Wang Lu, next time, I will definitely beat you." Hehe, that's impossible. After finishing speaking, Wang Lu walked away, making Li Mi very angry. However, thanks to Wang Lu, Li Mi cheered up at this time. Chapter 31, Mirong Shui wants 300 million to buy Dratini. Use the restoration machine provided by the Academy to restore Mitsumi, Electabuzz, and Dratini to their physical strength. Wang Lu returned to the auditorium and watched the rest of the game with Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai. When the last game is over. Today's games have been completed, and the quarterfinals will continue tomorrow. The entire audience dispersed in a rush. Wang Lu, Zhao Hongii, and Cao Lai were just about to leave, but they were surrounded by a large group of girls. Classmate Wang Lu, do you have a girlfriend? Student Wang Lu, I am a big fan of yours. Can I take a photo with you and Dratini? Student Wang Lu, do you have any ideas about tomorrow's competition? Are you confident that you can defeat Mirong Shui and Lei Jian and win the first place among the freshmen? Classmate Wang Lu. When Wang and Lu came out of the stadium alive, it was completely dark. I'm sorry for causing trouble for you. Wang Lu smiled and said to Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai, let's go, I'll treat you to dinner. Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai were already hungry, so when they heard this, they naturally agreed. But Wang Lu and the others had just taken a few steps when they were blocked by a young and beautiful figure. Mirong Shui. Recognizing the person, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai subconsciously took a step back. Especially Cao Lai, he was even more unbearable. He lowered his head directly, not even daring to look at Mirong Shui. Just because Mirong Shui is too perfect. Outstanding appearance, prominent family background, and strong strength. The superposition of these three is a perfect white, rich, and beautiful woman, at the level of a goddess. Xian Yuan College originally did not have a school beauty, but when Mirong Shui came, she directly locked on the school beauty, making countless boys in the school admire her. But facing Mirong Shui, a normal boy would only feel ashamed. Not to mention starting a pursuit, he would not even have the courage to say hello when he meets her. Although Mirong Shui is not considered aloof, the faint aristocratic temperament on her body seems to be constantly reminding everyone that there is a big gap between her and herself. Invisibly, the distance between her and ordinary people will continue to widen. Classmate Wang Lu, here are 300 million summer coins. Mirong Shui's skin is fair and her appearance is extremely beautiful, even in the dark night she is thrilling. She handed the box in her hand to Wang Lu, and said bluntly, if possible, I would like to exchange Dratini with you. 300 million. Hearing this, Cao Lai couldn't help but gasped, raised his head, and looked at Mirong Shui in shock. Zhao Hongii was also taken aback. Sorry, cannot. Wang Lu refused even to look at the box Mirong Shui handed over. Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai had already guessed that Wang Lu might refuse, but now, when Wang Lu really refused, they still felt an unreal feeling in their hearts. 300 million. That's 300 million. Not 3,000, 30,000, but 300 million. A full 300 million. The value of 300 million is too huge, and ordinary people can't touch it in their entire life. At the same time, 300 million is enough for an ordinary person to spend a lifetime in style. Faced with such a captivate, they never expected that Wang Lu would still refuse, and he was so decisive without any hesitation. Why? Mirong Shui also had a look of astonishment, and hurriedly asked. Obviously, she never expected that Wang Lu would reject the deal. To know. The market price of Dratini is actually around 100 million. It's just that there is a price but no market, and many times you can't buy it when you want to buy it. But compared to the seller, if you forcefully raise the price, if the price exceeds 100 million yuan, then the buyer will feel that it is not worth it, making it difficult for you to sell. Because Mirong Shui wanted Dratini so much and had too much obsession, she raised the price to 300 million at once, intending to win Wang Lu's Dratini in one fell swoop. Unexpectedly, Wang Lu resolutely refused. No reason. Wang Lu looked into Mirong Shui's eyes and asked back, if I offer 300 million to buy your Duolong, will you sell it? Duolong, full name Duolong Barchuo, the 8th generation quasi-god, ghost dragon type. At first, Mirong Hai didn't pass the only Dratini pet egg to Mirong Shui, but he also made a corresponding compensation, that is Duolong Magia's pet egg. Now, Mirong Shui has already hatched Doran Mezia, and breeder has become Doran Bart. Duolong's strength is also very terrifying, comparable to Dragonite. But even with Duolong, Mirong Shui still has a deep obsession with Dratini. That's impossible. Mirong Shui refused without thinking, Duolong is my most important fighting partner, I can't give it to anyone. Heh. It's good that you know. Wang Lu sneered and said, for me, Dratini is the same. Mirong Shui couldn't help being stunned. Just when Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai felt that Mirong Xiu was still fighting for Dratini, Mirong Xiu bowed deeply to Wang Lu, and then left. What does she mean? Cao Lai couldn't help asking. Wang Lu asked back, if I want to buy your Chaoyang pig, what will you do? What else can I do? Cao Lai rolled his eyes at him, and said charmingly, you are my boss. As long as you open your mouth, let alone Chaoyang pig, even if I go to Ryu's house to clean up and lie down, I won't frown. Wang Lu was completely speechless, get lost. Zhao Hongii couldn't help laughing either. Come to the hotel. With a wave of his hand, Wang Lu directly asked for a private room and ordered a large table of dishes. During the meal, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai released Pokémon tacitly, and Zhao Hongii even released Arcanine. At this time, on Arcanine's neck, the soothe bell has been hung, and Arcanine will hear a pleasant jingle bell sound when Arcanine moves a little, making Arcanine very comfortable. Sometimes, it will even take the initiative to ring the bell, listening to the crisp and melodious bell. Wang Lu, don't you let everyone out to have dinner together? Zhao Hongii asked suspiciously. She never stops trying to figure out what other Pokémon Wang Lu has. Wang Lu chuckled, of course he saw Zhao Hongii's careful thinking, and released the 3 Pokémon, Mitsumi, Electabuzz, and Dratini. Anything else? Zhao Hongii hinted frantically, do you only have these 3 Pokémon? Wang Lu smiled, for the time being, there are only these 3. Zhao Hongii, you lied to ghosts. Cao Lai. Seeing that Wang Lu was not fooled, Zhao Hongii had no choice but to give up. During the meal, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai chatted about the top 8 freshmen. In addition to Wang Lu and Mirong Shui, the top 8 freshmen are Lei Jian, Ma Teng, Lu Ming, Wang Zili, Mu Yifeng, and Chen Ran. Among these 6 people, Lei Jian has the strongest hard power. Lei Jian, as well as Wang Lu and Mirong Shui, were called the strongest freshmen in this class by the audience. From the audience's point of view, the 3 of them are all the most favorable contenders for first freshmen. Chapter 32. Alliance Champion 3 years ago, Mirong Bai. Wang Lu, Mirong Shui, Lei Jian. The 3 of them were said to be fighting for the first place among freshmen, but they were also fighting for the first place in Xian Yuan Academy. After all, everyone with eyesight knows. Although these 3 are freshmen, their strength has already reached the top of Xian Yuan Academy. Zhao Hongii is a very high-ranked expert in Xian Yuan Academy. After all, she is also the trainer of Jiwan Gym in Xian Yuan City. Her strength should not be underestimated. But if she was allowed to participate in this year's freshman competition, she would not even be able to touch the threshold of the top 8. From this we can see how terrifying the freshmen of Xian Yuan Academy are this year. But Wang Lu, Mirong Shui, and Lei Jian, these 3 are even more terrifying, far surpassing other freshmen, several grades. The reason why Lei Jian is so awesome is because his identity is also quite extraordinary. Huaxia Zhongzhou, as well as the 5 regions of East, West, North, North, and South. Each region will have a local champion and Elite Four sitting in the city. These are Xia Kingdom's first-class powerhouses, and they are infinitely beautiful. In addition to people like them, there are also some old elites who have retired, or were defeated in the Elite Challenge, and their strength is also very terrifying. This Jiwan is the grandson of a retired old elite. The retired old elite, speaking now, may not be as powerful and loud as the southern region elite Miranghai, but their heritage is still there. The family legacy is still there. As the saying goes, the dragon begets the dragon, the phoenix begets the phoenix, and the son of a mouse can make holes. In this world, those extremely powerful Pokémon seem to be subject to some kind of curse. Their fertility is extremely low, and they only have 1 or 2 offspring in their lifetime. But as long as they are born, they are basically evildoers. Therefore, those family inheritors, as long as they are not helpless, they are mostly very strong. Like Jiwan, who also has a super talent, his strength is even stronger. Speaking up. The top 8 freshmen of Xianyuan College this year were also unlucky. If they had not met Wang Lu, Mirang Shuet and Jiwan at the same time, they could have soared to the top of Xianyuan College. But now, compared with Wang Lu, Mirang Shuet and Jiwan, the 3 bad guys, they were completely eclipsed by the foil. In addition to the top 8 players, there are very few players in the top 16, 32, and even 64. For example, Li Mi, Blue Rain, and his ilk were originally very capable, but it was a pity that along the way, they encountered those 3 bad guys too early, which led to their early appearance. This is life. At this time, in the natural hot spring pool of a luxury hotel in Xianyuan City, a young man in his 20s and 3 was taking a bath. He has long flowing hair, fair skin, and extremely handsome features. Moreover, if you look carefully, you will find that his appearance is 7 to 8 points similar to Mirang Shue's. A man and a woman, with such similar appearance and temperament, are probably blood relatives. Good. This person is Mirang Shue's brother, Mirang Bai. Mirang Bai is very talented, his life has just begun, but he has already left many legends in the rivers and lakes. 3 years ago, Mirang Bai was only in his early 20s at the time, but he directly won the championship of the Southern Region, Local, Alliance. It should be noted that Alliance Champion and Local Champion are not the same thing. A local champion is the strongest and most top-notch existence in a place, and his strength is extremely terrifying. As for the Alliance Champion, it is just the final winner of the annual Alliance Conference held by the local Alliance. That is, the winner of the local Alliance Conference, also known as the Alliance Champion, will be selected every year. Of course, there are occasional re-elections. Even so, Mirang Bai was extremely awesome. Then, after Mirang Bai won the Alliance Championship in the Southern Region, he was so excited that he directly applied for the Elite Challenge. Good. Every year, the Alliance Champion will have an opportunity to challenge the local Alliance Elite Four, and that is the legendary Elite Challenge. If the Alliance Champion defeats the Elite, he can directly become the new Elite. The Elite that Mirang Bai challenged was none other than his father, Mirang Hai. Perhaps Mirang Bai didn't want to be an elite at all, he just wanted to surpass his father and prove to his father and the world that he was awesome. As a result, Mirang Bai was beaten up by his father Mirang Hai, and he became suspicious of life for a while. After that, Mirang Bai then found a secret place and dived in to practice hard. He stayed there for 3 years. During this period, countless young girls suffered from lovesickness. 3 years later, now, he is back. Uncle Fu, how did you do with the things I told you? Mirang Bai raised his head, and while stretching his body as much as possible in the hot spring to wash away the fatigue in his body, he asked an old man standing by next to him. I don't know the exact name of this old man, but he is the housekeeper of Mirang Mansion. Everyone in the Mirang Mansion calls him Uncle Fu. Hearing this, Uncle Fu quickly said respectfully, "Don't worry, young master, I have already taken care of the matters you asked me personally." Afterwards, Uncle Fu said with a pleased look on his face, "Young master, if the young lady knew about your hard work, she would definitely be very touched." Mirang Bai smiled when he heard this. What did he tell Forbes? In fact, after 3 years of hard training, he has become very, very powerful, and his methods are astonishing. No, he had just gotten out of seclusion and already got a Dratini's pet egg. He knew that his sister had always wanted a Dratini. So, he took advantage of his sister's opportunity to participate in the freshman contest and asked Fubo to contact the school and secretly exchange the prize for the first place in the freshman contest with Dratini's pet egg. Having watched Mirong Shui grow up since childhood, Mirong Bai knew that his sister had outstanding talents and was very powerful, unmatched among her peers. Because of this, Mirong Bai didn't even bother to watch the competition, so he directly concluded that Mirong Shui would win the first place among the freshmen. But young master, in this freshman competition, the young lady may not necessarily be able to get first place. Fu Bo said with a wry smile. Huh? Why? Mirong Bai raised his eyebrows. Fu Bo said, young master, you don't know. This freshman competition of Xian Yuan College is really full of geniuses. In addition to the young lady, there are 2 other people who also showed terrifying strength. I have already investigated. One of them is named Wang Lu and the other is named Lei Jian. Among them, Lei Jian is the grandson of the old elite Lei Zhentian. Chapter 33. You don't have to participate in tomorrow's game. Oh? A small Xian Yuan academy is so hidden and crouching. Mirong Bai was slightly startled, and also showed a thoughtful expression. Uncle Fu continued, actually, young master, Lei Jian is better. Although his strength is very strong, he has basically revealed his full strength. And that Wang Lu is simply hidden. So far, all the top 8 freshmen have been born, but the strength Wang Lu has shown is still just the tip of the iceberg. He only exposed 3 Pokémon from the beginning to the end. No one knows what Pokémon he has. The old man thinks that if the lady faces Lei Jian, even though it will be a hard fight, she should have a higher winning rate. But if Miss meets Wang Lu, I'm afraid, it's bad luck. After Uncle Fu finished speaking, Mirong Bai raised his brows. Snort. Mirong Bai snorted coldly, and said, we have carefully planned a game, and in the end, how can we take advantage of outsiders? Uncle Fu, you send someone to look for him immediately. Tell him to abstain. Uncle Fu smiled and said, don't worry, eldest young master, the old man has sent people to watch him all the time. The servant said that he and his friends just finished eating and came out of the Tianchen Hotel. Very well, I'll go find him myself. Mirong Bai acted resolutely, got up immediately, put on his clothes, and stepped outside. At this time, Uncle Fu was holding a Pokémon egg, and while catching up to Mirong Bai, he said, young master, this is the original prize for the first place in the freshman competition, a pet egg of a little fire monkey, and I will give this to you. I think Wang Lu should not be ignorant of flattery. Haha, good. Uncle Fu, you are really thoughtful and meticulous, and you are impeccable in everything you do. Mirong Bai laughed out loud, picked up little fire monkey's Pokémon egg, and strode outside. Not long after, Mirong Bai joined his servants, and under the instructions of his servants, he quickly found Wang Lu. You are Wang Lu. At this time, Mirong Bai was holding little fire monkey's Pokémon egg in one hand, while rubbing his chin with the other hand, staring closely at Wang Lu. To be honest, he is very confident about his appearance. In terms of talent and strength, he only thinks it is normal, but in terms of appearance, he often claims to be the most beautiful man in the world. But now when he saw Wang Lu, he felt jealous for no reason. This kid is actually more handsome than me. Mirong Bai. On the other side, Zhao Hong'ai and Cao Lai were taken aback. To know. Mirong Bai himself is from Xian Yuan. 3 years ago, he participated in the Southern Region Alliance Conference and won the championship in one fell swoop, becoming a man of the hour in the entire southern region. And the younger generation in Xian Yuan City worshipped Mirong Bai even more. At this time, Zhao Hong'ai and Cao Lai almost couldn't hold back and went forward to find Mirong Bai's autograph, but Mirong Bai's eyes were not friendly at the moment, so they stopped them. This is the first prize for your freshman, a Pokémon egg from Chimchar, the aptitude should be good. Accept it. As for tomorrow's game, you don't have to participate. Mirong Bai threw the Pokémon egg to Wang Lu and said calmly. Although his tone was flat, there was an undeniable domineering air. Wang Lu's eyes were fixed, and he almost guessed the purpose of Mirong Bai's visit. He had no choice but to suppress the competition for Mirong Shui in advance, so as to help Mirong Shui win the championship. This kind of method is too low-handed, and Wang Lu deeply disdains it. Wang Lu asked, did Mirong Shui ask you to come? Mirong Bai shook his head again and again, this matter has nothing to do with her. Wang Lu sneered and said, then you go back, the so-called prizes, I will naturally get them through my own strength. With that said, Wang Lu threw the Pokémon egg back to Mirongbai. His. Seeing this, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai couldn't help but gasped. They couldn't believe that Wang Lu still had such an arrogant attitude when facing the legendary Mirongbai. Don't talk about them. At this moment, even Mirongbai couldn't help being surprised. What's going on? This kid, doesn't he know me, Mirongbai? How dare you be so arrogant? Mirongbai stared at Wang Lu closely, holding a breath in his heart. This kid, it's okay to be so handsome, but he dares to make such a power trip in front of me? If I don't teach you a lesson, I won't be Mirongbai. Come out, Dragonite! Suddenly, there was a strong wind, and Dragonite just flapped its wings, and it directly caused a storm around it. Mirongbai's Dragonite is tall and powerful, and looks a few circles larger than ordinary Dragonite. Its skin color is also extremely bright, and it is extremely extraordinary at first glance. Dragonite. Attribute, Dragon plus Flying. Level 81, Elite. Qualification, Light Gold. It turned out to be an elite level Dragonite. Glancing at Dragonite's attribute panel, Wang Lu was secretly taken aback. As for this Dragonite possessing pale gold aptitude, there was no surprise at all. First of all, Dragonite itself is a powerful quasi-god Pokémon. No matter how low the aptitude is, Wang Lu estimates that the normal Dragonite will have orange aptitude. And Mirongbai's Dragonite is a family inheritance, it was passed down to him by his father, Mironghai. It would be strange if it didn't have higher aptitude than ordinary Dragonite. Damn it, Dragonite! Dragonite is a powerful quasi-god Pokémon, extremely rare. When it appeared, it directly caused an uproar in this bustling street. So handsome, so warm Dragonite! I really like Dragonite. Everyone, look at that Dragonite trainer. Mirongbai. That seems to be Mirongbai. Ah, Mirongbai. My husband is back. In Xianyuan City, Mirongbai's fans are almost everywhere. After all, he is handsome and powerful, who doesn't like him? However, facing the frantic screams and cries of the fans, Mirongbai turned a deaf ear to it, and just said to Wang Lu, boy, I'll give you 5 seconds to think about it, you'd better think clearly before answering me. Ah! As soon as Mirongbai finished speaking, Dragonite let out a loud roar, extremely powerful. Wang Lu has waveguide body protection, so he is not afraid, but Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai can hardly bear it. Cao Lai even trembled a little. Boss, a hero doesn't suffer from immediate losses. This Mirongbai is really too powerful, we can't beat him. Besides, we still have Chimchar's Pokémon eggs, so it's not a loss. Zhao Hongii looked at Wang Lu without saying anything. In her opinion, Wang Lu is very arrogant and has a strong self-esteem. At this time, facing Mirongbai's oppression, Wang Lu must feel very uncomfortable. If you comfort him at this time, it will only deepen his pain. However, she was simply thinking too much. At this moment, Wang Lu didn't panic at all with Ben. It's just Dragonite in the early days of Elite, I will be afraid of you. Use teleport. Wang Lu took out Celebai's luxury ball and released Celebi directly. Chapter 34. Your rival is it? Go ahead, Zapdos. Feeling Wang Lu's strong will, Celebi directly used teleport as soon as she appeared on the stage. Next moment, Mirongbai, Dragonite, Wang Lu, Zhao Hongii, Cao Lai and Celebi disappeared out of thin air on this bustling street. What the hell? The passers-by who had just gathered in a large circle to watch the show were dumbfounded. Of course, no one was particularly panicked. After all, this is the Pokémon world, and weird things often happen, and people have long been accustomed to it. Teleport, I just heard this order. It should be Alakazam, or a Pokémon like Yangzhila, using teleport to teleport them to other places. The case was solved directly, and the crowd dispersed. As for Celebi, because he disappeared as soon as he appeared, almost no one saw him. Only a 4 or 5-year-old little Stephanie said innocently, Mom, Celebi, I just saw Celebi. Nonsense, Celebi is the god of the forest, how could he appear here? Children are not allowed to lie. On a deserted island overseas, Wang Lu, Mirongbai and others appeared out of thin air. It was already dark over the mansion, but it was still daytime here. This shows how far apart the distance is. At the same time, it also proves how powerful Celebai's psychic is. If you switch to other super Pokémon and use teleport, how far can you teleport? What's more, Celebai is not alone, it is teleporting with so many people, which is simply scary. Celebai. Looking at Celebai's petite and cute figure, Mirangbai's pupils shrank in disbelief. Seeing Mirangbai's shocked face, Celebai covered her mouth and smiled sweetly. At the same time, she flew towards Mirangbai and reached out her little hand to pat Dragonite's head. This made Dragonite unhappy, so he snorted and flew it far away. Wang Lu's Celebai is obviously still a baby and very naughty. Oh my god, it's Celebai. Looking at Celebai, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai were even more stunned. Zhao Hongii asked in a trembling voice, Wang Lu, could it be that this Celebai is your Pokémon? Wang Lu nodded. After receiving Wang Lu's affirmative reply, Zhao Hongii almost felt dizzy for a moment. Cao Lai almost knelt down, boss, I'm convinced, I'm really convinced. From now on, I will be your servant, boss. You ask me to go east but I don't dare to go west. If you ask me to go west I don't dare go east. Woof woof woof. Looking at the farce in front of him, Mirangbai couldn't laugh at all. Who is this guy? Why? Even I, Mirangbai, have never owned a legendary Pokémon. Why can this kid own it? Staring at Wang Lu and Celebai, Mirangbai was still in disbelief, and his heart was even more jealous. To know. In this world, if you want to conquer a mythical beast, you not only need strength, but also luck. Just because the mythical beasts are too rare. Although quasi-gods are powerful and very rare, there are actually quite a few of them. If we take the world as a scale, there are actually many quasi-gods, and there are also many trainers who have quasi-gods. Among those powerful trainers, such as local champions, elites, and some top leaders of criminal groups, which one does not have one or two quasi-gods by their side. But the mythical beasts are too few. Looking at the entire world, the number of mythical beasts is still very few. Some mythical beasts even have one and only one, not even one of their kind. If you want to conquer a mythical beast, don't worry about whether you are strong enough or not. You must first meet it. Of course, the world is too big. In this world, there are indeed some mythical beast trainers. They either have strong strength and directly conquer the mythical beasts. Or you have a kind heart, let the mythical beast win, and are willing to follow it actively. Of course, no matter whether they are powerful or kind-hearted, they all have extremely unlucky luck. Because there are many strong people, and there are also many kind-hearted people. But only a handful of people like them own the mythical beasts. This is luck. Or luck. Boy, I have to say that you are really lucky to be able to own the legendary Pokémon. It's no wonder that you are so power-tripped that even I don't take it seriously. However, with this little baby that hasn't grown up yet, I'm afraid it's not my rival yet. Suddenly, Mirangbai suddenly burst out with a strong aura, which made Celebai startled. She hurriedly hid behind Wang Lu as if running away, leaving only one eye exposed to look at Mirangbai and Dragonite. Seeing Celebai's fear of him, Mirangbai smiled proudly. Legendary Pokémon are certainly scary, but legends that have not yet grown up are another matter. Mirangbai had a prominent family background and had received a good education since he was a child. He would not rely on his tyrannical strength to rob Wang Lu's Celebai. However, this does not prevent him from being dissatisfied with Wang Lu's power trip and disrespecting him as a senior. Today, he said he would give Wang Lu a good repair no matter what, not even the mythical beast, not even Celebai, could stop him. No, I never planned to use Celebai to fight you. I sent Celebai just to come here and have a fighting place where everyone can relax. Wang Lu shook his head and smiled lightly. With that said, Wang Lu took out a luxury ball again and threw it out. This is your rival. Go, Zapdos! Clang! A flash of white light, followed by an unusually loud sound, like the intersection of metals, like the roar of war horses, like the roar of thunder. Under the horrified eyes of Mirangbai, Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai, Zapdos appeared on Wang Lu's field. No! Cao Lai's knees weakened, and with a thud, he was so frightened that he knelt down on the ground. Zhao Hongii's situation was not much better, her beautiful eyes were trembling, and her pretty face was full of shock and disbelief. Open! Are you kidding? Wang Lu, he actually owns two legendary Pokémon at the same time? Even with Mirangbai's education and determination, at this moment, his face was full of shock and he couldn't help but uttered a curse word. At this moment, it seems that only this sentence can describe his agitated mood. Unlike humans. At this time, there was no look of shock on Dragonite's face, but only fear, deep fear. Chapter 35. Horrific Battle, Zapdos vs Dragonite. This Dragonite. When Mirangbai just turned 10 years old, he had already hatched. Then from Dratini, Mirangbai took it all over the world. After so many years, Dragonite has not only possessed the strength of elite, but also increased its knowledge. But Zapdos in front of him, Dragonite has never seen it before. But it can feel the extremely powerful strength and the extremely terrifying coercion from Zapdos. While this made Dragonite fearful, it also aroused a strong fighting spirit in his heart. Anyway, Dragonite is quasi-god. The quasi-god is majestic and inviolable. Feeling the powerful fighting spirit on Dragonite, Mirangbai's heart trembled. Dragonite, you really deserve it. Do you even dare to challenge the legendary beast? Okay. Today, we will slaughter the gods together. Mirangbai said loudly, his blood boiling. In Mirangbai's opinion, against Zapdos, he's not completely out of luck. Zapdos is powerful, but Dragonite, as a quasi-god, will not be weak. Quasi-god, what is quasi-god? Because they are the most powerful race closest to divine beasts. More importantly, Dragonite is very adaptable, can master multiple skills at the same time, and has a very wide range of attacks. His Dragonite holds Conti Zapdos Ice Trick. Rush forward, Dragonite, and use Freeze Punch. There was no extra opening remarks, Mirangbai suddenly got into trouble. You step back. Wang Lu said to Zhao Hongai and Cao Lai without looking back. This battle is not a normal battle, it can be called a battle of gods and beasts. Once it starts, it will definitely shake the ground. Wang Lu didn't care about them at all. Hearing this, Zhao Hongai and Cao Lai nodded their heads again, and retreated a distance away. Call out. I saw that when the Dragonite dual wing beat shook, the ground began to fly away. A pair of small wings, but with great power, Dragonite seems to have a propeller normal behind it, and the whole person flashes out in an instant. That speed is really too fast. A strong Hideki flow visible to the naked eye quickly emerged from Dragonite, directly crushing the air and causing a series of ear-piercing noises. At the same time, on the front of Dragonite's fist, there was also an extremely cold air, and with a freezing fist, he punched Zapdos fiercely. So fast. Zhao Hongai and Cao Lai couldn't help being shocked. Wang Lu also nodded secretly, the speed of this Dragonite is really fast. But Wang Lu knows that his Zapdos is faster. Avoid it. Use Thunderbolt. Just when Dragonite was about to hit Zapdos with a punch, Wang Lu gave an order. Chi chi chi. The Zapdos dual wing beat shook, thunder and lightning. I saw that Zapdos rose several meters in an instant at an incredible speed, making Dragonite's freezing fist miss. This is not over yet. I saw Zapdos instantly flashing lightning, and went straight to the Dragonite below. Zapdos is known as the god of thunder, so one can imagine how powerful it will be in mastering and using thunder and lightning. That thunderbolt shot was so fast that Mirangbai and Dragonite couldn't react at all. Boom! By the time he reacted, Thunderbolt had already bombarded Dragonite. Ah! Dragonite screamed in pain amidst the bright lightning. What's even more terrifying is that the powerful impact of Thunderbolt from top to bottom actually directly smacked down Dragonite from mid-air and hit the ground hard. Boom! Suddenly, thunder exploded on the ground and smoke and dust rose. Such a terrifying thunderbolt, is this the power of a divine beast? Mirangbai was taken aback, and sighed in horror. Dragonite is indeed a powerful quasi-god, with unfathomable physical strength. When the smoke cleared, Dragonite stood up tenaciously despite being covered in injuries. To know. Dratini and Dragonair are just single dragon types, but after evolving into Dragonite, they become Flying Dragon type, which is the Dragon plus Flying attribute. Dragon, twice as resistant to electricity. Flying, twice as weak. So, after evolving into Dragonite, Dragonite does not have the resistance to lightning. And how powerful is Zapdos thunder and lightning? In the case of the same level, it is several grades higher than other electric Pokémon. Dragonite has no resistance, it can stand up again after receiving a blow, which is already very scary. Since the speed is not enough, Dragonite, use Dragon Dance, agility to increase the speed. Under the shocked gazes of Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai, Mirongbai gave an order to Dragonite. Dragon Dance? Agility? This Mirongbai actually issued 2 skills to Dragonite at the same time? What they didn't know was that what Mirongbai used was the legendary combo technique. Since Dragonite grew up, he has already experienced many battles, and his proficiency in various skills has already reached the peak. All kinds of skills, Dragonite can come at your fingertips and release them instantly. On this basis, it is no longer difficult for Dragonite to combine 2 skills, or even 3 skills, and release them instantly. This is the real elite, the battle-tested elite. This combination of skills has little to do with talent and qualifications. It all depends on the joint efforts of the trainer and Pokémon. After thousands of fierce battles, it will be gradually honed. I saw that the Dragonite spun around like a top, and the Dragon Dance was completed. At this time, its speed and attack were upgraded by a level. Immediately afterwards, Dragonite agility rushed towards Zapdos, and in mid-air, its figure flickered like a shooting star normal. Its speed skyrocketed once again, increasing by 2 levels. In such an instant, the speed of Dragonite almost doubled. So fast! Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai couldn't help exclaiming. It's not over yet, Mirongbai shouted loudly, just use the frozen fist like this. Combo skills. Dragon Dance plus agility plus freezing punch. Triple combo. It's really fast. Wang Lu was also slightly startled, not daring to take it hard, and said, Zapdos, use double team. Shua. Zapdos split dozens of shadows in an instant, and Dragonite couldn't tell who was the real body and who was the prosthesis, and was stunned for a moment. Mirongbai said, Dragonite, directly use Thunderbolt to attack all Zapdos. Boom. The increase in basic speed doubles the speed at which Dragonite releases its unique moves. It instantly released a huge bolt of lightning, covering all Zapdos present. Bang bang bang! All the clones were crushed instantly and disappeared completely. Zapdos' real body also revealed its original shape. At this time, I saw lightning flashing all over Zapdos. It had obviously received a thunderbolt, but it still seemed unscathed. Chapter 36. Crushing, Brave Bird. Dragonite's thunderbolt is extremely powerful. However, Zapdos withstood this blow and was unscathed. What? How is this possible? Mirongbai was shocked and couldn't believe it. If Dragonite is a flying dragon, then Zapdos is a thunderbird. Zapdos also has the attribute of electricity plus flying. Reacting resists electricity, while flying weak electricity. So theoretically, Zapdos should have no resistance to lightning. However, a theory is just a theory after all. This is the real world. If the theory really works, then everyone can become a master. In this real world, Zapdos is known as the god of thunder and controls thunder and lightning. Zapdos's resistance to lightning is much more than twice as simple as that. It can even be said that immunity has been achieved. Zapdos, Thunderbolt. Ignoring Mirongbai's shock, Wang Lu attacked directly. Finished talking. Zapdos flew towards Dragonite while continuously releasing Thunderbolt to attack Dragonite. At this time, Dragon Dance and Agility are still growing, and Dragonite is extremely fast, even surpassing Zapdos. For a moment, Dragonite was hovering in the air against Zapdos's continuous attacks, but he also dodged them one after another. But reality is no better than games. Amplification skills such as Dragon Dance and Agility will not last until the end of the battle, but will only last for a short period of time. Amplification skills including Power Up Punch, Bulk Up, Sword Dance, Belly Drum, etc. are also the same. They will not last until the end of the battle, but will only last for a short period of time. Mirongbai knew. At this time, for Dragonite, the amplifying effects of Dragon Dance and Agility are weakening, and the duration is almost over. Once it ends, Dragonite's speed will be completely at a disadvantage. At that time, it will no longer be possible to dodge Zapdos attacks so easily. Zapdos Thunder Shock is extremely powerful, and a single hit will cause a lot of damage. Dragonite, Light Screen. Freezing Light. As soon as Mirongbai finished speaking, energy mirrors appeared all around Dragonite, and then disappeared. Mirongbai has already begun to prepare the ground for the next battle. Light screen can also last for a period of time, and during the duration, the special attack damage you receive will be halved. Shishi. At the same time, Dragonite has a big mouth, and the violent ice energy gathers into a ball of light, from which 5 complex and interlaced icy rays of light are shot straight towards Zapdos. Use detect. As Wang Lu finished speaking, Zapdos's eyes became sharp in an instant. He detected the trajectory of the opponent's freezing light in an instant, and dodged it with a flash of his body. Dragonite roared, and the freezing beams from its mouth continued to shoot wildly at Zapdos. Unfortunately, no one hit. What a terrible battle! At this time, Zhao Hongyi and Cao Lai looked at the battle between Zapdos and Dragonite in mid-air from a distance, with great horror. Mirongbai is one of the strongest figures among the new generation of trainers in the entire Southern Territory. They never expected that their classmate Wang Lu could fight to such an extent with Mirongbai. What's even more outrageous is, Wang Lu actually owns the legendary beast. You can actually control the divine beast so easily. Every command is executed correctly by Zapdos. Who is he? The boss is really scary. He is only 18 years old, and Mirongbai is already 23 years old. It can be said that the potential of the boss is many times more powerful than Mirongbai. In a few years, when the boss's Pokémon like Milotic, Electabuzz, and Dratini keep up with the progress, they will reach the level of Zapdos and Dragonite. I can guarantee that the boss will become the strongest trainer among the new generation in the southern region. None of them. Even, the boss is likely to become the youngest elite in our southern region. Cao Lai said excitedly, at this moment, Wang Lu is simply his most admired idol. At this time, Zhao Hongyi looked at Wang Lu with a lost L-like expression. In her opinion, Wang Lu is too good, too dazzling, which makes it hard for her not to admire. It's hard not to admire. As the battle continued, Dragonite's contest condition got worse and worse. I saw that Dragonite was covered in injuries, panting, and even his speed was greatly reduced. Obviously, the boost effects of Dragon Dance and agility have completely disappeared. In contrast to Zapdos, eyes are sharp, flying is powerful. After fighting for so long, it seems that I am still at the peak contest condition. The difference is obvious. Zapdos, kill it, use Thunderbolt. Wang Lu ordered. Heard the words. Zapdos instantly sent out a bolt of lightning, heading straight for Dragonite. Dragonite wants to escape. Pity. At this time, Dragonite's contest condition is sluggish, and the speed has become very slow. Just when Thunderbolt was about to hit Dragonite, a light screen popped up from Dragonite, directly absorbing half of Thunderbolt's power. But the other half of Thunderbolt's power still hit Dragonite hard through the light screen. Ah! I saw lightning flashing on Dragonite's body, and screamed in pain. Right now it is sluggish, and it is very painful to bear Zapdos' blow, even if it only has half the strength. Shishi. Suddenly, a tiny electric current was seen coming from Dragonite's right leg. At this time, Dragonite's right leg seemed to lose consciousness and could not use any strength at all. With a bang, Dragonite couldn't help but half knelt on the ground. Paralysis. Dragonite is paralyzed contest condition. Oops. Mirongbai couldn't help being shocked. At this time, Wang Lu will naturally not let go of this rare opportunity. Zapdos, use Brave Bird. Clang. The voice just fell. Zapdos folded his wings, and a blue shock wave appeared on the surface of his body, like a blue flame wrapped all over his body. With a terrifying power, he went straight to Dragonite. Brave Bird itself is a big move of the flying system. Right now, when Zapdos is used, its power is even more terrifying. Get out of the way, Dragonite! Mirongbai shouted, but it was in vain. Dragonite was paralyzed in contest condition, and couldn't stand up for a while. Boom! Zapdos' Brave Bird slammed into Dragonite hard. That huge force directly shattered the ground under Dragonite's feet. In the blink of an eye, a huge crater appeared at the Dragonite's feet, and the smoke and dust rose 3 feet. After a few seconds, the smoke cleared. All I saw was that Dragonite lay sprawled in the pit, completely unconscious. Chapter 37. Explore the Dragon Nest Dungeon. It's over. Mirongbai laughed miserably and knelt down weakly on the ground. He lost, and he, Mirongbai, actually lost again. And this time, rival was just a boy about 18 years old, about the same age as his sister. He, Mirongbai, has been hailed as a genius since he was a child. Now he is 23 years old, but he can't even beat a teenager. What's even more disgusting is that the other party actually owns a mythical beast. Then, the gap between the two sides will only become wider in the future. Come back, Zapdos, you did well. On the other side, Wang Lu didn't bother to pay attention to Mirongbai. After he took Zapdos back to the luxury ball, he carried Celebi and walked towards Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai. Boss, you are so awesome. I admire you so much. The two of them rushed over to greet him, especially Cao Lai, who seemed to be kneeling down to lick him. Cao Lai is shameless. Now that he finally had an awesome boss, he naturally wanted to hold on tightly. Okay, don't flatter me. Wang Lu couldn't take it anymore, so he took out a brand new luxury ball from the system space and threw it to Cao Lai. Thank you, boss. Cao Lai was suddenly ecstatic, fondled the luxury ball fondly, and smiled broadly. The boss told me not to flatter me, but gave me a luxury ball. He obviously likes me to flatter him. Cao Lai thought in his heart. Cao Lai is different from Zhao Hongii. At the very least, Zhao Hongii is also a gym trainer, and also has an old elite master, so he has a bright future. As for Cao Lai, he is really an ordinary person. Although he is also a disciple of Jiwan Gym, he is only a registered disciple. There are so many ordinary disciples and registered disciples in the gym. The old elite, the old owner, how could he pay too much attention to him? Cao Lai originally thought that his life would be like this. Until he unintentionally worshipped an awesome boss. Now, in his opinion, Wang Luna is simply young and promising, with a bright future, and he can become a strong player casually in the future. As long as he hugged his thigh tightly, wouldn't he also be able to ascend to heaven? Wang Lu naturally didn't know what was going on in Cao Lai's mind, but even if he knew, it didn't matter. Wang Lu himself is generous, and has a system and various resources, which are simply inexhaustible. That being the case, there is nothing wrong with taking care of the people around him, especially ordinary people like Cao Lai who have no money or power. Wang Lu, it turns out that you are so powerful. It seems that you are the number one freshman this year. Zhao Hongii looked at Wang Lu with bright eyes and said in admiration. She didn't care about Wang Lu, she just worshipped him. Well, of course. Wang Lu also nodded unceremoniously and smiled proudly. After all, he came to Xianyuan College just to practice his skills. If he couldn't even get the first place in a college or the first place among freshmen, then let alone the first place in the country or the world. Okay, Celebi, please send us back. Wang Lu touched Celebi's onion head and said. Better. Celebi nodded cutely, and immediately, teleport, Wang Lu and others disappeared from the same place again. About half a minute later, Mirongbai finally came over from the defeat smelling salts. Because he didn't see Wang Lu and the others, he panicked. Damn! That little bastard, just throw me here. Wang Lu. Hello, Wang Lu. Grass. But no matter how loud he shouted, Wang Lu never appeared again. Mirongbai completely collapsed, God knows where it is, how to get back. Xianyuan City. After returning, Wang Lu immediately took Celebi back to avoid unnecessary trouble. By the way, boss, Mirongbai, we forgot about Mirongbai. Cao Lai seemed to have just remembered and said hurriedly. But Wang Lu waved his hand, it's okay, I can't die anyway. Heard the words. Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai looked at Wang Lu in astonishment. It turns out that you didn't forget, but did it on purpose. At the same time, the two of them couldn't help mourning for Mirongbai. You say you, who is not good to offend, why do you want to offend this badass, bad luck? It was completely dark. Wang Lu broke up with Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai, and they returned to the gym. And Wang Lu returned to the previously booked hotel. Wang Lu did not choose to live on campus. After all, no matter how good the college is, the accommodation environment cannot compare to a hotel. And he also didn't intend to waste too much time in the academy, so it would be more convenient to stay in a hotel. 8:15. It was still early. Wang Lu decisively exhaled the system. The third copy giant tree forest has been cleared, and the fourth copy dragon nest is open, and no additional conditions are required to enter. Before, Wang Lu didn't go to challenge the Dragon Valley, and now he just had time, so he directly entered. With a flash of white light, Wang Lu appeared in a secluded and peaceful beautiful valley. According to the small map of the copy, Wang Lu only occupies a small part of this valley, which shows that this valley is huge. Oh! So many Axu here! Wang Lu just came in, and soon found a large group of Axu fighting with each other in the grass in front of him. Axu, that's a rare dragon Pokémon anyway. Unexpectedly, in this Dragon Valley, it can be seen everywhere. For Axu, Wang Lu is still very interested. After all, he really likes the Pokémon Haxorus. When playing Pokémon games before, as long as there is a version of Haxorus, he will basically tame an Axu for training. Just because Haxorus is such an asshole. The physical attack species strength is as high as 147, and once the sword dance is turned on, the air is almost second to second. In the game, Haxorus is much easier to use than many quasi-gods and beasts. Now that he has the opportunity, Wang Lu naturally wants to take in an Axu for training. But Wang Lu now has a system, and the requirements for qualifications will be relatively high. Axu is the first form, and there are 2 more stages of evolution, and there is still a lot of room for improvement. But at the very least, it has to be a purple talent, otherwise, Wang Lu can't see it at all. Axu. Attribute, Dragon. Level 33, Elite. Qualification, Blue. Axu. Attribute, Dragon. Level 38, Elite. Qualification, Blue. Axu. Attribute, Dragon. Level 30, Elite. Qualification, Green. Unfortunately, Wang Lu probably scanned around, and basically all of them were Axu with blue qualifications. There are also a few Axus with green qualifications, which is even more rubbish. Come out, Celebi, use the magical leaf. Wang Lu released Celebi directly and gave an order. I saw Celebi spinning in mid-air, releasing a large number of green energy blades, and reached an Axu in seconds. Celebi gain a little experience. Now, the pets under Wang Lu's command are all relatively high level, and only Celebi is the lowest, only at level 37. Wang Lu decided to give it a little level first. Chapter 38. Ash breaks in and triggers a temporary mission. This magical leaf is powerful enough, but the range is too small, right? After all, it is Celebi, any skill, when it comes to it, its power is not much less powerful. But the attack range is hard to say. For some skills, the attack range is very small. Just like magical leaf, it can only attack one target at a time. If it's the grass type big move leaf storm, that's great. It's extremely powerful and has a huge range. If Celebi is used to farm monsters and upgrade, it will definitely be a large area in a second, and the upgrade will be rapid. Unfortunately, Celebi has not yet learned Leaf Storm, and Wang Lu has not released the corresponding skill machine, which is a pity. Forget it, let's clear the dungeon first, and then slowly brush up. Wang Lu touched Celebi's head. Then, Celebi lowered his head aggrieved, and immediately his eyes became firm. Then, Celebi raised his head and let out a loud cry. Suddenly, the wind blew up, and countless blades spun rapidly, forming a huge leaf storm. I saw leaf storm sweeping past all the way, constantly absorbing the energy of the surrounding grassland, becoming more and more powerful, and went straight to the group of Axu on the opposite side. Axu. The group of Axu were all stunned, seeing the leaf storm attacking, but they froze in place. Some Axus with quick reflexes run right away, but compared to leaf storm, their speed is too slow. Boom! Leaf storm killed all the Axus in one fell swoop. Ding! Celebi has been upgraded. The current level is 38. Ding! Celebi has been upgraded. The current level is 39. Ding! Celebi has learned a new skill Leaf Storm. With a large amount of experience points recorded, Celebi was directly promoted to 2 levels. After that, it really learned Leaf Storm. Actually, it has learned before upgrading, and now, it is fully mastered. After all, it is Celebi, the qualifications are so scary. Haha, amazing! Looking at the masterpiece created by Celebi, Wang Lu couldn't help laughing out loud. After owning Leaf Storm, Celebi should be able to upgrade soon. Killing a single Pokémon in seconds is completely different from killing a bunch of Pokémon in seconds. Celebi. Suddenly there was an exclamation of a human child behind him. Wang Lu looked back and was startled. Hell! The human child behind him turned out to be Ash. I saw Ash in front of me, still looking like a 10-year-old boy. Judging by the clothes on his body, he should be the 5th generation, that is, the generation of the black girl Alice. The 3 royal families are Snivy, Tepig, and Mizu Sase. Hello, is this Celebi your Pokémon? Ash came over with Pikachu on his shoulders, and asked Wang Lu with a look of astonishment. Wang Lu nodded, yes. Sharp. Ash directly gave a thumbs up, and immediately looked at Wang Lu and Celebi with fiery eyes. My name is Ash, please do a Pokémon battle with me. Before Wang Lu could answer, a system notification sounded in his ear. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering a temporary mission and defeating Ash. Mission reward, Power of the Dragon. Dragon Power, increase the intimacy with Dragon Pokémon by a large amount. When fighting, increase the combat power of your own Dragon Pokémon by 20%. Okay, I agree to your challenge. Wang Lu didn't intend to refuse at first, but now that a temporary task was triggered, he naturally agreed. Immediately, Wang Lu's eyes were on Pikachu on Ash's shoulder. Pikachu. Attribute, Electricity. Level, 71, Quasi-Elite. Qualification, Orange. Regarding Pikachu's level, Wang Lu was not too surprised. After all, this is the 5th generation of Ash, and he has already traveled to multiple regions. If he doesn't have any strength at all, it would be too rubbish. What's surprising is that this Pikachu actually has the Orange Chosen qualification. Orange qualification, if it is reissue, there is nothing to say. But Pikachu only has Orange qualifications, which is too much. All I can say is that this is the halo of the protagonist. Pikachu, it's definitely you. Sure enough, Pikachu appears. Ash is actually not stupid, he is still a bit of a mathematician. Seeing that rival is a trainer of mythical beasts, he naturally does not dare to send out the newly conquered 5th generation Uzangia. It is safest to send out the strongest Pikachu currently in hand. After asking Wang Lu's name, Ash asked, Mr. Wang Lu, will you send Celebi to fight me? No. Wang Lu shook his head, and at the same time took out Zapdos luxury ball and threw it out. Your rival is it? Zapdos is here. There is no way, Ash's Pikachu is still too strong and the level is too high. For now, Wang Lu can only have an absolute winning rate by sending the strongest Zapdos. After finally triggering a temporary mission, and with such an awesome reward as the power of the dragon, Wang Lu naturally did not allow himself to fail. Besides, Ash is only 10 years old, just a brat. If I lose to him, what face will I have left? Zapdos. Ash was shocked again, but soon the shock in his eyes was replaced by a fervent fighting spirit. This is Ash. He couldn't have wished for a battle with the legendary Zapdos. It's a pity that Charizard is not in hand. Otherwise, Ash will only get more excited. After all, his Charizard once defeated Articuno, and if he defeated Zapdos again, the record would be even more brilliant. Mr. Wang Lu, if you don't say anything, I will attack first. Come on Pikachu, strike first and use quick attack. Ash gave an order, and Pikachu rushed out quickly, pulling out a flash behind him and heading straight towards Zapdos. Fly, Zapdos! Zapdos' dual wing beat shook and flew up, creating strong whirlwinds at the same time. The whirlwind naturally had strong resistance, which stopped Pikachu's quick attack and made it difficult to move forward. Such a powerful force, truly worthy of being a legendary Pokémon. Ash became even more excited and shouted, in that case, Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Chew! Pikachu's mastery of thunder and lightning is quite good. In an instant, he sent out a bolt of lightning and went straight to Zapdos and soaring in the sky. This time, Wang Lu did not issue any orders and allowed Pikachu's Thunderbolt to order Zapdos. Result: Zapdos was unscathed and actually showed a look of enjoyment, which undoubtedly greatly stimulated Ash and Pikachu's moods. What? It didn't work. Ash was stunned. Is this Zapdos? It's so powerful. Wang Lu waved his hand, it's over, Zapdos, use Giga Impact. The voice fell. An extremely dazzling golden light suddenly appeared on Zapdos' body, and he quickly hit Pikachu on the opposite side. At this moment, its momentum increased 100 times, as if it was unstoppable. Boom! Smoke and dust rose up, and Pikachu screamed and fell far away. Pikachu! With an exclamation, Ash immediately showed off his unique skills. With a sudden slide, he firmly caught Pikachu in his arms after falling from soaring in the sky. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the temporary mission and gaining the power to control the dragon. Chapter 39. Partnering with Ash, Golden Axe U. With the sound of the system prompt in the ear, Wang Lu's mind was shaken, and he felt another extremely powerful force emerging from the depths of his body. And that power is the power of Yulong, which is by no means inferior to the power of Bakuo. The stronger the power of controlling the dragon, the stronger it is, but it is also very simple. After all, it has only two functions. First, affinity with dragons can easily increase the affinity with dragon Pokémon. The second is to increase the combat power of your own dragon Pokémon in the battle. These two functions are very simple. As long as the power of controlling the dragon in the body is released, it will take effect directly. As a result, Wang Lu has mastered the power of controlling the dragon just now. On the contrary, it is the power of the wave guide, which is full of bells and whistles, but it has to be said that the power of the wave guide is also more comprehensive. If there is a chance, Wang Lu must study it carefully. Mr. Wang Lu, your Zapdos is so powerful, Pikachu and I are not rival at all. Pikapi. At this moment, Ash came over with Pikachu in his arms again, and said to Wang Lu with some admiration. Pikachu also nodded weakly. Wang Lu originally thought that Ash would take the initiative to leave after losing, but unexpectedly, he still lingered. Why, do you still want to brush the dungeon with me? Wang Lu complained inwardly, but still took out a tree fruit that can restore physical strength and handed it to Pikachu. After eating in 2 or 3 bites, Pikachu quickly regained his strength. Thank you so much, Mr. Wang Lu. Ash saw Pikachu come back to life, and said gratefully. Wang Lu shook his head and said, Ash, nice to meet you, then, goodbye. Finished talking. While taking Zapdos back, Wang Lu walked forward with Celebi on his shoulders. Please wait a while. Ash quickly chased after him and said, Mr. Wang Lu, this is the Dragon Valley, the hometown of my friend Alice, but it has been invaded by Pokémon hunters. If it's possible, Mr. Wang Lu, can you help us? Well. The corner of Wang Lu's mouth twitched. Everyone has said that, so I can't refuse, right? So, Wang Lu and Ash went together, and the two walked towards the depths of the Dragon Valley together. Along the way, because Ash was following him, Wang Lu was embarrassed to brush monsters and upgrade while walking. That being the case, Wang Lu simply became serious, planning to quickly clear the dungeon first, and then concentrate on spawning monsters and upgrading. Not long. Wang Lu and Ash meet the first hunter. The hunter was a bald man, and behind him, an armored vehicle was parked. And behind the armored vehicle is dragging a huge black iron cage. At this time, the bald hunter is constantly throwing the captured Axew into the iron cage. Wang Lu had sharp eyes, and at a glance, he found that there was a golden Axew that was different from the ordinary Axew in the iron cage. Wang Lu's heart moved, and he quickly checked the attribute panel of the golden Axew. Axew. Attribute, Dragon. Level, 42, Elite. Qualification, Purple. That's it. Wang Lu couldn't help showing a smile on his face. Flash Axew, and the qualification of Purple, this is simply perfect. At this time, the bald hunter found Wang Lu and snorted coldly, and said, Where did the brat come from? If you don't want to die, get out of here. Asshole, let those Axew go. Ash roared, took out a pokeball and threw it out. Go, Snivy, use Razor Leaf to destroy the iron cage. Immediately after the arrogant Snivy appeared on the stage, he danced 2 huge Razor Leaves and slashed towards the black cage. Bang bang twice. As a result, the cage wire was not damaged. Wang Lu was a little strange, and couldn't help but glanced at Snivy. Snivy. Attribute Grass. Level 18, Intermediate. Qualification, Blue. So it's only level 18, no wonder. Wang Lu couldn't help complaining. But this is normal. After all, at this moment, Ash probably has just conquered Snivy not long ago. That is. Right now Ash basically has no combat power except for Pikachu. What's more, his Pikachu is very strange. If he is strong, he will be strong, and if he is weak, he will be weak. No wonder he asks himself for help. Court death. Snivy's razor leaf didn't cut through the cage, but it still angered the bald hunter. He roared and sent out a vicious Might Hyena, use the Shadow Ball. Might Hyena. Attribute, Evil. Level 48, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Heard the words. Might Hyena immediately opened her mouth wide, congealed a black shadow ball, and slammed it towards Snivy viciously. At the critical moment, Wang Lu took action decisively. Celebi, use confusion. Celebi directly released the powerful psychic, which made the shadow ball that came in a sudden stop in mid-air, and then suddenly turned around and smashed towards Might Hyena's face. With a bang, Might Hyena fell down without even a scream. Celebi kills Might Hyena instantly with one move. Wang Lu was not surprised at all by this result. Although Might Hyena is much ahead in level, she has not yet broken through to the level of Pokémon, not to mention that the qualifications between the two are too different. Celebi. The bald hunter couldn't believe it, and immediately, a ferocious laugh appeared on his face. Ha 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 ha, Celebi, I'm developed. Might Hyena was killed, and the bald man didn't take it to heart at all. There were so many Pokémon of Might Hyena's level, and it was nothing to kill Might Hyena instantly with one move. From the aura of Celebi and the power of his special moves, the bald man judged that Celebi's level was not very high. In this case, he is even more confident. If Celebi is caught, he can definitely sell it for a good price, and from then on, with the beautiful woman by his side, he will skyrocket. Go, Crocodile! The bald man sent out a big guy, which was his trump card. Crocodile. Attribute, Ground plus Evil. Level 64, Library Owner. Qualification, Orange. Crocodile is a human-shaped crocodile with dark purple skin and dark eyes, as if wearing a pair of sunglasses, looking very suspenseful. What a strong momentum! Ash's eyes widened and he shouted to Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Hearing this, Wang Lu slipped and almost fell. As expected. Facing Pikachu's thunder shock, Crocodile did not dodge, and directly withstood Pikachu's attack head-on. However, there was nothing wrong with Crocodile. How is this possible? Ash couldn't believe it. Pikachu was also in disbelief. At this time, Ash felt very uncomfortable. That's it for Zapdos. Why, this crocodile looks far less powerful than Zapdos. Why does Pikachu's Thunderbolt have no effect? Pikachu, what's wrong with you? Nothing, it's just that Crocodile is a ground-type Pokémon. Wang Lu pointed at Ash and said. Chapter 40. Battle with the Bald Man, Mitsumi's Crocodile. Oh. So that's it. Ash suddenly understood, and at the same time he breathed a sigh of relief. He thought there was something wrong with Pikachu's Thunder Shock. After all, his Pikachu had a similar problem before, unable to send out Thunder Shock, and thus lost to a rookie trainer, which was really embarrassing. As soon as Ash came up, he made a stupid mistake. So much so that the bald man looked down upon him. In fact, the bald man simply ignored him and Pikachu. A pair of thief eyes greedily stared at Celebi on Wang Lu's shoulder. Come on, Crocodile, go ahead and grab Celebi and use bite skills. Heard the words. Crocodile opened his claws and rushed towards Wang Lu. Mitsumi, use the hydro pump. Facing Crocodile, Wang Lu directly sent Mitsumi out and fired a hydro pump towards Crocodile. Because it was a surprise attack, Crocodile was unable to react for a moment and was directly hit by hydro pump. The impact of hydro pump was so strong that Crocodile couldn't help but retreated backwards. Water restrains ground, and its effect is outstanding. Mitsumi's water gun caused considerable damage to Crocodile. Mitsumi is also at the peak level of Pokémon. Although it is not as high as Crocodile's gym leader level, it is not much different. Moreover, Mitsumi's qualifications are overwhelming, coupled with attribute Conti. In Wang Lu's opinion, Mitsumi can definitely compete with him. Flash Milotic. The bald man was stunned again, and then a sicker smile appeared on his face. I'm developed. Ha 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 ha, one Celebi, one Flash Milotic. God really treats me badly. The bald man's eyes were full of greed. He had never thought that if Wang Lu had such a rare Pokémon, how could his strength be normal? Damn, what a greedy guy. Since Rival is a ground-type Pokémon, Snivy. Ash volunteered and planned to let Snivy participate in the battle in order to help Wang Lu relieve the pressure. Thinking of Snivy's level, Wang Lu quickly interrupted and said, "Don't worry Ash, just leave this to me." "Leave it to you? What an arrogant boy, do you think my crocodile is vegetarian?" The bald man sneered and said, "Come on crocodile, use dig." This crocodile has a very high level and rich combat experience. It digs burrows very quickly. With just a bang sound, it sank into the ground and disappeared. "Be careful, Mr. Wang Lu!" Ash shouted hurriedly. Wang Lu's eyes narrowed and he became highly concentrated. At this moment, he released an extremely powerful waveguide, directly covering the entire field, forming a waveguide magnetic field. Within this waveguide magnetic field, Wang Lu's induction of waveguides is meticulous. He clearly sensed that Crocodile's waveguide was flying forward underground, which meant that Crocodile was flying forward underground. Good. Within this waveguide magnetic field, Wang Lu can lock on the specific location of Crocodile in real time even if he cannot see it. In fact, it's not just Crocodile. As long as he is within this waveguide magnetic field, he is a god, and his perception can lock on everything. What kind of cloak, substitute, mist, haze, poison gas, and other deceitful methods can't escape? Just when Crocodile was about to break out of the ground and attack, Wang Lu gave an order, "Mitsumi, use Protect." Mitsumi instantly released Protect, creating an aqua-blue spherical barrier that completely enveloped his body. Boom! The next second, Crocodile broke out of the ground and slammed into barrier. Barrier was instantly shattered, but Mitsumi was unscathed. "It's all in vain, Crocodile, use Thunder Fang." The bald man snorted and shouted. Heard the words. Crocodile immediately opened his mouth, and extremely powerful thunder and lightning emerged from the sharp teeth, and bit Mitsumi's neck fiercely. "Mitsumi, use water waves." Following Wang Lu's order, Mitsumi was not afraid of thunder and lightning, and immediately spit out a basketball-sized water ball and hit Crocodile in the face. Boom! The two powerful energies collided fiercely, causing a huge explosion in an instant, and smoke and dust rose up to 10 feet. At the same time, Mitsumi and Crocodile rushed out of haze and flew backwards. At this time, both Pokémon were injured and panting. But Mitsumi contest condition is okay, and her eyes are still full of fighting spirit. On the other side, Crocodile was yelling and shaking his head, falling into chaos. Contest condition. At this time, Crocodile's brain was in chaos and he lost his most basic reason. In the next period of time, it would not be surprising even if it attacks itself. Damn water waves! The bald man cursed in his heart and shouted, "Cheer up, Crocodile!" Unfortunately, it has no effect at all. Crocodile fell into a chaotic contest condition. How could he easily recover with just 1 or 2 words from him? At this time, Wang Lu naturally would not let go of this rare opportunity. He waved his hand and shouted, "Mitsumi, give it a final blow and use the most powerful hydro pump." In this case, Mitsumi even had time to stockpile, and finally ejected a huge high-pressure hydro pump, knocking Crocodile and the bald man out of the air. One person and one crocodile fell heavily to the ground. Crocodile was instantly knocked unconscious. Hateful! The bald man looked unwilling. But now, he has lost his strongest combat power, and staying here is definitely not a wise choice. Celebi, Flash Milotic, they are precious and priceless, but you have to die to get them. In the end, the bald man let out a roar and ran away scrambling. "Mr. Wang Lu, you are really amazing. If I am as powerful as you, that would be great." Ash came over, looked at Wang Lu adoringly and said. Wang Lu waved his hand and said, "Let's save the Axeus first, Mitsumi, use Aqua Tail." As Wang Lu finished speaking, I saw Mitsumi's beautiful fan-like tail, which instantly liquefied, like a normal flow of water, but full of power. With a light tap, the black iron cage was directly exploded. The Axeus are free. However, they trembled and did not dare to run away without authorization. Damn bald man, he must have abused them. Ash was filled with righteous indignation, and couldn't help looking at Wang Lu, asking, "Mr. Wang Lu, what should we do now? If we don't care, then these Pokémon are too pitiful. Don't panic, look at my power to control the dragon." Wang Lu pretended to be aggressive, stretched out his hand, and stroked towards the group of Axu. Chapter 41. Conquer the Golden Axu. Wang Lu stretched out his hand and stroked towards the group of Axu. Call out. At this moment, the Golden Axu suddenly came out and bit Wang Lu's hand fiercely. Wang Lu took a look. This group of Axu has basically been frightened by the bald man, only this Golden Axu still has fighting spirit. A true shiny Pokémon. Wang Lu is getting more and more satisfied with this Golden Axu. As for the hand injury. In fact, Wang Lu's physique has already become very strong under the constant washing of the powerful wave guide. Recently, he gained the power to control the dragon again, and his physique doubled again. Therefore, Wang Lu didn't take this minor injury seriously at all. The power of dragon control. Wang Lu directly activated the power of dragon control, and a wave of extremely strong power swept out in all directions. This power is strong enough to make any other Pokémon fearful, except for dragon-type Pokémon. They like it very much, get close to it, and enjoy it. The group of Axu couldn't help looking at Wang Lu. At this time, they seemed to have returned to the arms of Lord Dragon God. All the fear on their faces was wiped away, their eyebrows stretched, and they all showed bright smiles. The Golden Axu was also stunned, and the rage and threat on his face completely disappeared. It quickly let go, looked at Wang Lu and laughed awkwardly, and stretched out its tongue from time to time to lick the wound on Wang Lu's hand. At this time, Wang Lu seemed to be the dragon god. Since it is a dragon god, how can it hurt it and other Axus? Seeing this little guy's violently reversed attitude, Wang Lu smiled slightly, couldn't help holding it up high, and asked, "Cute little guy, would you like to walk with me?" Heard the words. Golden Axu nodded repeatedly, with a look of ecstasy on his face. Being able to follow Lord Dragon God is a blessing it has earned throughout its life. Okay. Wang Lu smiled happily, quickly took out a luxury ball, touched the Golden Axu's head lightly, and put it in with a flash of red light. Axu is probably adapting to the new environment. Luxury ball only shook for a moment and then became completely silent. This also means that Wang Lu officially subdued Axu. Amazing! Pikachu! Ash and Pikachu were standing aside, dumbfounded. Mr. Wang Lu, what kind of magical method is he using to save a Pokémon that has been traumatized? Axu. Attribute, Dragon. Level 42, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Physical attack skills, Bite, Crunch, Slash, Dragon Claw, Outrage. Special attack skill, Dragon Wave. Change skills, Taunt, Grimace, Laser Focus, Sword Dance. Perfect. After carefully observing the attribute panel of Axu, Wang Lu showed a smile on his face. This little guy is extremely talented. In the first stage of the mere form, he has already mastered many skills, the core and most critical Sword Dance has already been mastered. All that's left is to evolve into Haxorus. Wang Lu can't wait to see how powerful this little guy can explode after he evolves into Haxorus. Mr. Wang Lu, congratulations on conquering Axu. Pikachu. Ash sorted out his mood and walked over with Pikachu on his shoulders to congratulate Wang Lu. Even Pikachu called out to Wang Lu to congratulate him. Thank you all. After successfully taming the Golden Axu, Wang Lu was in a good mood and couldn't help but said to Ash, "Ash, do you want to tame an Axu too? Haxorus is very cool." Huh? Me? I don't need it. Unexpectedly, Ash shook his head and said with a wry smile, "The growth and evolution speed of dragon Pokémon is really too slow. I once tamed a Gible in Sinnoh, and it hasn't evolved yet." Hearing this, Wang Lu nodded secretly. Gible is a quasi-god cub, he cherishes it very much, and Ash's Gible is also quite talented. Wang Lu reckoned that he almost had purple aptitude, and once he evolved into Garchomp, it would be just as powerful and terrifying. Thinking of this, Wang Lu stopped trying to persuade him. Everyone has their own aspirations, he likes Haxorus, but Ash may not. Okay, let's move on, we must drive out all the Pokémon hunters here. Wang Lu took out the healing spray to restore Mitsumi's strength, then stroked Mitsumi's head to comfort her, and then took her back into the luxury ball. After doing this, Wang Lu patted Ash on the shoulder. At this time, Ash, just like Wang Lu's lost L brother normal, nodded again and again, yes. Later, Wang Lu and Ash set off again. After a while, a Vibrava flew over. It looked very anxious and kept hovering and chirping above Wang Lu and Ash's heads, unwilling to leave for a long time. Human trainer, please save my companion. Wave guide search. In a daze, Wang Lu seemed to hear the voice of the Vibrava speaking again. It was the voice of little human Stephanie. He estimated that this little guy was a female dragonfly. Vibrava. Attribute, Dragon plus Ground. Level, 42, Elite. Qualification, Blue. It turns out to be a blue qualification. Wang Lu couldn't help but shook his head. A second stage dragon Pokémon with blue aptitude, which is really bad. Hehe. Ash looked at the Vibrava on his head and said with a smile, Mr. Wang Lu, look, this Vibrava seems to like us very much, and it has been following us. No. Wang Lu shook his head and said, it is asking us for help. Its companion seems to have been caught by hunters. Ash was taken aback, Mr. Wang Lu, how do you know? Wang Lu said with a smile, Bow Guide, you also have this ability, but my Wave Guide is stronger. Sometimes, I can hear the voice of Pokémon talking. Ash immediately admired him even more, Mr. Wang Lu, it turns out that you are a Wave Guide hero, no wonder you are so powerful. I really admire you so much. Ash, although he also has a Wave Guide, but strictly speaking, he can't be regarded as a Wave Guide hero. Because his Wave Guide is too weak. And Wang Lu's Wave Guide is 1,000 times better than him. Once mastered, it will be very scary. Okay, stop talking, Vibrava, please lead the way, we will save your companion. Wang Lu said to Vibrava, and at the same time, speed it up. Not long. Led by Vibrava, Wang Lu and Ash encountered another hunter. It was a hunter with a red hedgehog head. Like the bald man before, he also drove an armored vehicle. At this time, he was constantly loading the captured trap-inch into the black iron cage behind the armored vehicle. Damn it, stop it! Ash roared angrily and rushed forward. Chapter 42. Leaf Storm, Quadruple Outstanding. Where did the kid come from? Court Death. Drudigan, kill it for me. The hunter with the red hedgehog head, named Natto, snorted coldly and directed Drudigan to kill Ash. Drudigan. Attribute, Dragon. Level 52, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Pikachu, please, use Thunderbolt. Ash focused on Pikachu on his shoulder and said. Heard the words. Pikachu jumped out immediately, and with a Thunderbolt move, he hit Drudigan hard. Ah! I saw that Drudigan's whole body was covered by powerful lightning, and he screamed in pain. Rao is Drudigan with rough skin and thick flesh, and twice as resistant to electricity. But Pikachu is already in the realm of Quasi-Elite, the level is too advanced, and Thunder Shock is too powerful. This move Thunderbolt down also caused a lot of damage to Drudigan. Use Dragon Claw. Natto shouted coldly. Drudigan instantly gathered dragon energy, causing Dragon Claw to emit a dazzling white light. With one paw, he slapped Pikachu fiercely. Drudigan possesses great strength, but is bulky and relatively slow. It wasn't until Drudigan's Dragon Claw was about to attack that Ash yelled steadily, avoid it, use Iron Tail. Pikachu jumped up to avoid it instantly, and sent Iron Tail backhand, sending Drudigan flying. In the end, Drudigan stopped after bumping into a big tree, and passed out completely. Waste. Natto took the Drudigan back impatiently, and at the same time, sent out another Pokémon, come on, Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. With a flash of white light, a huge figure appeared in front of Pikachu, like a large shadow cast by the hill normal, covering Pikachu. Super Iron Tyrannosaurus is the evolution of Radon, Rock plus Ground attribute. It is above attribute, which can be said to be completely Conti Pikachu. Ash, be careful, this guy is also a ground-type Pokémon. Wang Lu reminded. Clear. Ash nodded and said, in that case, Pikachu, use the Audiobooks tail. Mound. Hearing this, Pikachu immediately jumped to splash, the light of Audiobooks normal radiated from the tail, and slammed the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus fiercely. Steel counters rock, the effect is outstanding. However, the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus seemed to be fine, and it stretched out its hand and scratched the place where Pikachu's iron tail had patted, as if scratching a normal itch. How so? Ash looked shocked, in disbelief. The defense of the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus is too high. Wang Lu thought to himself, and at the same time, he also began to check the attribute panel of the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. Attribute, Ground plus Rock. Level, Level 66, Master. Qualification, Orange. No wonder, with such a fearsome Iron Tyrannosaurus, Pikachu is no rival at all. Super Iron Tyrannosaurus has extremely strong physical defense, but special defense against normal. If it is a special attack, its frankness is not so terrible. Coincidentally, Pikachu's special attack, Thunderbolt, Thunder is immune to Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. Iron Tail is a physical attack. Twice the damage of Iron Tail, but can't break the defense, it is too difficult. Wang Lu was just about to hand over the baton to Ash, but at this time, Naduo suddenly attacked. Just when Iron Tail failed and Pikachu landed, Naduo narrowed his eyes and shouted coldly, Super Iron Tail, use Bulldoze. Drudagon, Super Iron Tyrannosaurus, these are heavyweight Pokémon and very slow. And Naduo seems to be very good at using them, and his timing is quite subtle. I saw the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus suddenly raised its foot and stepped hard towards Pikachu. There is no need to say more about how powerful the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus is. What's more, Bulldoze is a ground-based skill, and for Pikachu, its effect is outstanding. If the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus steps firmly, Pikachu will have to shed his skin even if he doesn't die. Get out of the way, Pikachu! Ash shouted anxiously. However, Pikachu was already frightened and motionless. At the critical moment, Wang Lu quickly shouted, Celebi, use teleport to rescue Pikachu. The next moment, Pikachu disappeared from the spot and appeared on Wang Lu's other shoulder. Boom! Almost at the same time, the solace of the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus feet landed heavily. Under this huge impact, the ground exploded instantly, and smoke and dust rose up to 10 feet. Pika! Pikachu exhaled humanely, with a scared expression on his face. Ash was so scared that he collapsed on the ground and kept thanking Wang Lu, Mr. Wang Lu, thank you so much for saving Pikachu's life. Mind your own business. Super Iron Tyrannosaurus, use Stone Edge. Looking at Wang Lu with murderous eyes, Naduo gave an order. Heard the words. The Super Iron Tyrannosaurus immediately summoned sharp stones and shot them towards Wang Lu and Celebi and Pikachu on Wang Lu's shoulders. Waveguide. Wang Lu was focused and confident. He stretched out his hand and released a blue barrier, blocking all Stone Edge. What? Naduo was shocked and in disbelief. It was only then that he noticed the Celebi on Wang Lu's shoulder. Who is this guy? A human body can easily withstand the attack of a Super Iron Tyrannosaurus? More importantly, he actually conquered the legendary Celebi? This is too cool. Mr. Wang Lu is so handsome. Ash was also shocked and looked at Wang Lu with eyes that became more and more admiring. One day, he also wants to become a powerful man like Mr. Wang Lu. Kill it, Celebi, use Leaf Storm. Wang Lu ordered. Celebi raised his head and screamed, summoning a huge leaf storm, destroying everything and sweeping towards Radon. Leaf Storm's speed was too fast for the clumsy Super Iron Tyrannosaurus to reflect. In the blink of an eye, the terrifying Leaf Storm completely enveloped the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. If the meat grinder was normal, it would cut into the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus crazily. Ouch, ouch, ouch! In Leaf Storm, the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus roared loudly in pain. To know. Leaf Storm is a grass-based skill. Grass can restrain rock and ground. For the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus, it is too targeted. That's 4 times the damage. Once Leaf Storm can break through the defense of the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus, the effect will definitely be mega. Certainly. It is indeed not easy for Celebi to break through the defense of the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus at the moment. Although the special defense of the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus is very normal, its level is here, the Hall Master level. And Celebi is just an elite in her 30s. The level gap between them is huge. This is Celebi. If it were any other Pokémon, at such a low level, it would be too difficult to break through the defense of Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. Chapter 43 vs Garchomp. When Leaf Storm ended, the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus was already half kneeling on the ground, with scars all over its body. After one breath, even its last leg couldn't bear it, and it fell to the ground with a bang. This is attribute counter, the power of 4 times the damage. Ding, Celebi has been upgraded. The current level is 40. Ding, Celebi has been upgraded. The current level is 41. Defeat the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus and gain a lot of experience points. In an instant, Celebi was promoted to 2 levels in a row. It's so scary. Is this the power of legendary Pokémon? Natto was trembling and didn't even care about the Iron Tyrannosaurus. He threw down the Iron Tyrannosaurus Pokeball and ran away. The vast majority of Pokémon are not inherently evil. Many times, they just do what they are told, and Super Iron Tyrannosaurus is not at fault. Celebi, use Life Dew. Following Wang Lu's command, Celebi immediately released a drop of Life Dew and landed on the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus. Next moment, I saw that the scars on the Super Iron Tyrannosaurus were recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. It also regained some of its strength and stood up again. Ho! The owner abandoned it and ran away alone, which made it a little sad and couldn't help but roar. Subsequently, it crushed its Pokeball with one kick and gradually disappeared into the forest. Wang Lu and Ash looked at each other and smiled, with no unnecessary expression on their faces. If he wanted a Super Iron Tyrannosaurus, Wang Lu would have already taken action and would never be polite to Ash. What's more, this is just Ash in the dungeon. The Super Iron Tyrannosaurus is as strong as it gets. But Wang Lu doesn't like this too bulky Pokémon. Wang Lu, like Ash, likes the fast attack style and is better at the fast attack style. This is why Wang Lu likes Haxorus so much. Haxorus has strong attack and fast speed, and the air is blown away every second. It's really not that exciting. Then, Celebi, as the god of the forest, has a pure heart and is kind. At this time, it had already run to Black's iron cage, stretched out its weak hands, and tried to open the iron cage to free the trap-inch inside. But, with its little strength, how can it be broken open? It's not like using some special trick. Okay, Celebi, step back. Wang Lu called Celebi back. Seeing that Pikachu was still on his shoulder, he directly ordered Pikachu, "Pikachu, use Iron Tail." As soon as he finished speaking, Pikachu jumped out and destroyed the iron cage with an iron tail. The trap-inch escaped successfully. Seeing this, Ash couldn't help but be surprised. To know, not everyone can command his Pikachu. It seems, Ash thought, Pikachu really likes Mr. Wang Lu. There's nothing we can do about it. Seeing how close Pikachu was to Wang Lu, Ash wasn't even jealous. After all, in his opinion, Wang Lu is too strong. If he is jealous, he might as well work harder and strive to become as powerful a man as Wang Lu as soon as possible. Flygon, strength normal. Among all the dragon Pokémon in their final form, they are only average. There is nothing we can do about this, and we can't blame Flygon. After all, many dragons are mythical beasts. Red and Blue Plains, Rayquaza, Black Dragon, White Dragon, Ice Dragon, even the Infinitus. There are simply too many. There are many quasi-gods. Dragonite, Salamence, Garchomp, Hydreigon, Komo-o, Barto. There are 9 quasi-gods in total, 7 of which are dragon-type. It's no wonder that among the dragon-type Pokémon, Flygon seems inconspicuous. But anyway, Flygon's strength is indeed normal, which is inferior to many Yuuzhanjia. Wang Lu doesn't have much interest in Flygon. If anything, it's that Flygon looks pretty good. Just because of this appearance. If he meets a purple qualified trap-inch, Wang Lu doesn't mind cultivating him. Unfortunately, he scanned around and didn't find that kind of trap-inch, so he decisively gave up and moved on with Ash. Boy, stop. Master Longjian is working in front of you. If you don't want to die, you 2 boys should get out of here. Go, Garchomp. Another hunter appeared, and in order to stop Wang Lu and Ash, he sent Garchomp directly. Garchomp. Attribute, Dragon plus Ground. Level 68, Library Owner. Qualification, Orange. Fortunately, it's just an orange qualification. In this case, Mitsumi should be able to deal with it. After glancing at the attribute panel of the Garchomp, Wang Lu decisively took out Mitsumi's luxury ball. But just when Wang Lu was about to take action, unexpectedly, "Ash me first, since rival is Garcomp, then the decision is yours, Menace." There was a flash of white light, and a cute little cutie appeared. It put its hands on its hips very playfully, looking extremely proud, but when it saw that rival was the terrifying Garcomp, it was immediately frightened. At this time, Menace didn't want to lose face either, and with a whoosh sound, he ran back and hugged Ash's thigh tightly, trembling. It is clear. Wang Lu estimated that Wang Lu had just conquered this water worm, and its level was relatively low. Facing the powerful quasi-god Pokémon, it has no fighting spirit or desire to fight at all. "Don't be afraid, Menace, use the freezing light." Ash directly hugged Menace. Menace closed his eyes tightly, not daring to look at Garcomp at all, but he still spit out a freezing beam and shot it towards Garcomp. Mirong Bai's Dragonite, his freezing ray, had 5 rays, complex and intertwined. But its freezing light only has 1 beam, and its power is very weak at first glance. Although it can deal 4 times the damage to Garcomp, it must break through the defense first. Facing Menace's freezing light, Garcomp on the opposite side was also very disdainful. He did not dodge or dodge, but raised his arm to block it. As expected, he was completely unscathed. Garcomp took the blow without any reaction at all. "Ash, stop making trouble, Menace still needs to grow up, just leave this place to me." "Go ahead, Mitsumi, use freeze beam." Wang Lu sent Mitsumi out and gave the order. "Woo!" Mitsumi immediately spit out the freezing beam and shot it towards Garcomp. Although Mitsumi's freezing ray is not as powerful as Mirong Bai's Dragonite, it still has 3 rays of light that interlock with each other. This power is many times more powerful than Menace. "Oh? It's Flash Milotic? But it's no use." The hunter operating Garcomp sneered and shouted, "Garcomp, jump to splash to avoid it, and then use Dragon God Dive." Chapter 44. Zapdos appears and kills Haxorus instantly. Garcomp is very flexible and quite fast. It jumped up and easily avoided the freezing light. Immediately, it suddenly released an astonishing murderous aura, swooped down, and slammed into Mitsumi fiercely. The Dragon God swoops down, releasing an astonishing murderous aura, which has a certain chance of immobilizing the enemy. However, Mitsumi's qualifications are crushed. Compared with this Garcomp, Mitsumi has a stronger blood. Right now, Mitsumi is immune to Garcomp's killing intent. Seeing that Mitsumi is so awesome, Wang Lu secretly praised, and said, "Mitsumi, use Protect." Heard the words. Mitsumi immediately created a water blue barrier to block in front of her. With a sound of bang, Garcomp swooped down, and it crushed the barrier directly with its powerful strength, but it stopped there. The power of Dragon God's dive was completely offset by Protect. "Humph, let my Garcomp get close, I'm looking for death." The hunter snorted coldly and said, "Garcomp, use Dragon Claw next." The violent dragon energy gathered, Garcomp's sharp claws flashed a strong white light, and he slashed towards Mitsumi fiercely. Wang Lu narrowed his eyes, "Hold it down, use the freezing light." "What?" The hunter couldn't help being shocked. Boom! Garcomp's dragon claw slashed at Mitsumi's body fiercely, and that powerful force exploded, directly sending Mitsumi flying. It is clear. Garcomp's dragon claw did a lot of damage to Mitsumi, but that was it. Freeze Ray, launch! Outstanding effect, quadruple damage. Ah! Being hit directly by the icy beam, Garcomp screamed in pain, tilted his head, and passed out directly. Garcomp! The hunter was stunned. This kid, how dare he bear my Garcomp's attack? More importantly, his Milotic really held up. As expected of a trainer with shiny Pokémon, "Boy, you are very strong. But it's over here, I can't let you go on, go, my strongest partner, Haxorus." The hunters took Garcomp back and sent out a second Pokémon. It turned out to be the Dragon Pokémon again, the final evolution of Axew, Haxorus. Haxorus. Attribute, Dragon. Level 69, Master. Qualification, Orange. It's hard to believe that a hunter, and not a boss-level hunter, actually owns 2 powerful Dragon-type Pokémon at the same time. Good. He is indeed not a normal-level hunter, he is called Longdo, and he is a Dragon Hunter. He is good at using powerful Dragon Pokémon. At the same time, I also like Pokémon of the Ravager Dragon line. In this regard, he can continue to improve his strength. On the other hand, Dragon-type Pokémon can be sold for a very high price in the outside world. All in all, in the hunter group, the Dragon Hunters are already very high-level hunters. Above them are the Beast Hunters, most of them have terrifying strength, and even have divine beasts. Of course, Beast Hunters are basically legendary existences, and it is difficult for outsiders to see them. Come back, Mitsumi! Mitsumi has been severely injured by Garchomp before, her breath is sluggish, and her combat effectiveness must have declined. It is by no means the rival of Haxorus in front of her. Wang Lu can only take it back and send Zapdos into the game instead. Wang Lu can't help it either, the level of the NPC in this copy is too high. Right now, apart from Zapdos, he can barely fight Mitsumi and Celebi. As for the other Pokémon, Dratini, Electabuzz, and the newly subdued Axew, they are all vulnerable. Zapdos. In an instant, Longdou's hair stood on end. He never expected that besides Flash Milotic, the boy in front of him also possessed the legendary Zapdos. Like his master, Haxorus was also bristling at this moment. Looking at Zapdos on the opposite side, its body couldn't help shivering. This was the absolute coercion from blood, level, and strength. Zapdos, use Thunderbolt. With Wang Lu's order, Zapdos immediately released a Thunderbolt, which was as powerful as a normal Thunderbolt, and slashed fiercely towards Haxorus below. Under this strong pressure, Longdou's body was covered with cold sweat, and he hurriedly shouted, "Get out of the way, Haxorus!" Haxorus's legs were very strong and his speed was extremely fast. It jumped back and successfully avoided the thunder from Zapdos. Boom! The sky thunder crashed to the ground, leaving a big crater directly on the ground, and scorched smoke billowed up. Seeing the scene in front of them, Ryato and Haxorus felt their scalps go numb even more. Haxorus, counter-attack with Dragon Wave. The power of Zapdos is really terrible, and it can easily kill someone in seconds. Longdou dare not let Haxorus and Zapdos fight close combat. Heard the words. Haxorus immediately spat out a wave in the shape of a dragon, and rushed towards Zapdos with teeth and claws. With a bang, the dragon wave accurately hit Zapdos, producing a small-scale explosion, and the smoke and dust swirled. Zapdos, however, came close to unscathed. This is normal. Not to mention that rival is Zapdos. The key Haxorus is a powerful physical attacker, it is not good at special attacks. It uses dragon waves, its power is normal, and it is only good at physical attacks of strength. Zapdos, use Steel Wing. Following Wang Lu's order, I saw that the pair of golden wings of Zapdos suddenly emitted a strong white light, flying rapidly, and slammed towards Haxorus fiercely. So fast. Longdou looked like he was facing a formidable enemy, his head covered in cold sweat. Zapdos' current speed was too fast, and he was still attacking at close quarters. He knew that Haxorus couldn't dodge it, so he could only block it. Haxorus, use Dragon Claw to block it. Boom! Zapdos Steel Wing, and Haxorus Dragon Claw, collided hard. These two powerful forces collided, and a huge explosion was produced directly, and the smoke and dust rose up 10 feet. When the smoke clears, Zapdos is almost unscathed. And Haxorus had already fallen to the ground, completely unconscious. This is the power of legends, it's really terrifying. Sorry, Lord Dragon Sword, I can't stop it. Garchomp, Haxorus, and his two trump cards were defeated one after another. Ryato completely lost his fighting spirit and knelt on the ground powerlessly. Chapter 45. Flash Salamence, the Golden Legend. Ahead is the Dragon Garden, which is the secret realm of the Dragon Valley. There, live the rarest and most powerful dragon-type Pokémon, and even ethnic groups like Haxorus and Flygon are not qualified to live in it. As early as when Wang Lu PK was fighting the dragon, there were continuous astonishing explosions from the Dragon Garden in front of him. Ash, hurry up, the hunter boss should be right ahead. Wang Lu greeted, and didn't bother to take Zapdos back, so he rushed into the Dragon Garden with Zapdos and Ash. At this time, in the Dragon Garden, two powerful dragon Pokémon are fighting fiercely. One is Hydreigon and the other is Flash Salamence, both powerful quasi-god Pokémon. Hydreigon. Attribute, Dragon plus Evil. Level 75, Quasi-Elite. Qualification, Light Gold. Salamence. Attribute, Dragon plus Flying. Level 68, Library Owner. Qualification, Gold. That Flash Salamence has a huge body of black, and its wings are still blood-colored. It looks far more domineering and murderous than the normal Salamence. As soon as the whole body looked at it, it was full of majesty and violent aura, giving people a feeling that they were about to eat people at every turn. Its level is obviously lower than that Hydreigon. But its combat power is obviously stronger, and much stronger. One shot of flamethrower, the power. The huge crimson pillar of fire shot straight into the sky, burning soaring in the sky red in an instant. What a terrifying power that is! No doubt. Its power has completely surpassed the boundaries of ordinary Pokémon, and its bloodline level has truly reached the level of a divine beast. Its existence is a legend. But now, its eyes were scarlet, and it seemed to be in chaos. Contest condition. Its mind was in chaos, and it attacked randomly, either burning soaring in the sky or crushing boulders, but rarely hit Hydreigon effectively. On the other hand, Hydreigon, although its strength is far inferior to it, it can effectively strike and continuously weaken its physical strength. That is to say, it has reached the legendary level, with extremely strong blood and unfathomable physical strength, otherwise, it would have fallen down long ago. Longjian, don't fight anymore, otherwise, mother-in-law will be angry when she comes back. At this time, the black girl Alice was tied to a stone pillar, and she looked anxious as she watched Hydreigon fight Salamence, constantly destroying every plant and tree in the Dragon Garden. In fact, Salamence is mainly destroying, and its destructive power is too terrible. As for Hydreigon, its destructive power is actually the same, and the destructive area caused by Salamence is not at the same level. Nonsense! Longjian is Hydreigon's trainer. Hearing this, he sneered and said, because Longpo is not here, now is the best time for me to conquer Salamence. I have been waiting for so many years, this time, how can I miss it? Alice shook her head desperately and continued to persuade, Dragon Sword, although you have taken the wrong path, you are still from our hometown of Dragon after all. According to the regulations, you have the right to challenge Salamence. If you really want to subdue it, wouldn't it be better to fight upright? Why destroy our Dragon Garden? Did you hear that? Dragon Pokémon are crying. Before she knew it, Alice also shed tears. This is the place where she grew up, and she has deep feelings for every plant and tree here. Seeing the huge damage here, she was helpless. However, regarding Alice's true feelings, Longjian just sneered disdainfully, an upright fight? Don't you know how powerful this guy is? If I could conquer it openly, I would have replaced Longpo and become the Dragon Master. Really? In this battle, he used despicable means. As soon as he came up, he ordered Hydreigon to destroy the Dragon Garden crazily and attack the Dragon Pokémon living here crazily. It can be said that as soon as he came up, he completely angered Salamence. And Salamence itself has a bad temper and can ignite at a moment's notice, let alone if you destroy its home? Attack its companions? Then, Salamence directly triggered outrage and fell into a chaotic contest condition, which caused the current situation. There is nothing the Dragon Sword can do. This is all he can do in order to conquer Salamence. If not, if Salamence is in normal contest condition, his Hydreigon is definitely not rival. Okay, Alice, stop talking nonsense. For the sake of all of us being from Longxiang, I will spare your life. Haha, just keep your eyes open and watch carefully. See how I conquer this Salamence and how I successfully move towards becoming a Dragon Master. Longjian couldn't help laughing wildly. Clang! Just when Longjian was getting carried away, Zapdos flew in, surprising Longjian. Zapdos! Why? Why is Zapdos here? Feeling the strong pressure from Zapdos, Longjian was flustered and complained. If he meets Zapdos normally, he will definitely be ecstatic, then challenge him, and if possible, conquer Zapdos directly. But right now, it was the most important moment in his life. He is very aware of the strength and potential of that Salamence. In his opinion, compared to the legendary Zapdos, that Salamence will never be inferior in the slightest. It might even be stronger. This time, in order to conquer Salamence, he made careful arrangements and absolutely did not allow failure. Alice! Zapdos was in front, followed immediately by Wang Lu and Ash, who rushed in to untie Alice immediately. Ash, who is this? Looking at Wang Lu's handsome appearance and tall figure, Alice blushed and her heart beat. Hearing this, Ash said proudly, "This is Mr. Wang Lu. Did you see it, Alice? That Zapdos is Mr. Wang Lu's Pokémon." Ah! Alice was suddenly startled and her mouth opened into an O shape. This little brother actually conquered the legendary Zapdos. Isn't this amazing? What? That boy is actually the master of Zapdos? The trainer of the mythical beast. After Wang Lu and Ash rushed in, Long Jian had been paying attention to them. At the moment, after hearing what Ash said, he was stunned and in disbelief. Why? My dragon sword has never subdued a mythical beast, that boy, why can I? Chapter 46. Subdue Flash Salamence. Mr. Wang Lu, please help us restore calm to Salamence. Alice looked at Wang Lu and pleaded. In her opinion, since Wang Lu has Zapdos, he can definitely defeat Salamence and restore peace to Salamence. As long as Salamence returns to peace, the Dragon Garden will not continue to be destroyed, and the homes of the Pokémon living here will not be destroyed. Compared to this, she didn't care so much about Salamence's final destination. After all, in her opinion, a Pokémon as powerful as Salamence should belong to a capable person. If your dragon sword is really powerful, then you can just conquer it. Why do you want to anger Salamence and destroy the Dragon Garden? Well, don't worry, just leave it to me. As early as when he first came in, Wang Lu had already noticed the Flash Salamence. He never expected that it turned out to be a golden aptitude. To know. Even Zapdos, Celebi, that's just a golden qualification. In other words, that Flash Salamence is comparable to a legend. Comparable to a mythical beast. Possessing an extremely powerful talent bloodline. Now that he has encountered such a Pokémon, how can he let it go? He must conquer it. And he has the power to control dragons. As long as that Salamence is subdued, Salamence will exert even more terrifying combat power under his command, and even surpass Zapdos. This is unimaginable. Do not come. This Salamence is the treasure of our Longxiang people. How dare you, a mere outsider, get your hands on it? Seeing Wang Lu bringing Zapdos closer and closer, Long Jian was in a state of confusion. If Wang Lu was just a normal trainer, he would have crushed him easily without any need for nonsense. But the problem is, Wang Lu is not a normal trainer. Wang Lu is the trainer of the mythical beast. "Heh, you're a Pokémon hunter, how dare you say such a thing?" Wang Lu couldn't help but sneer, and with a wave of his hand, Zapdos moved forward. "Hydreigon, kill it, use Tri-Attack." Long Jian's face was full of ferocity and he roared angrily. Heard the words. Hydreigon's 3 dragon heads each spit out a beam of light of different colors, which was concentrated towards Zapdos. A red, flame-like light. Once it hits, there is a chance that the enemy will fall into a burning contest condition. A saffron-colored light, like thunder and lightning. Once it hits, there is a chance that the enemy will fall into a paralyzing contest condition. An icy blue beam, like a freezing beam, has a chance of causing the enemy to fall into a freezing contest condition once it hits. Tri-Attack, effects vary, but are powerful. However, Wang Lu just snorted and said, "Detect, Zapdos, use Thunderbolt." The voice fell. Zapdos's eyes became sharp, and he detected Tri-Attack's movement trajectory in an instant, and successfully avoided it with a flash of his body. At the same time, a Thunderbolt was released and fell, hitting Hydreigon hard. Ouch! Hydreigon screamed instantly, fell from mid-air, and was already unconscious. Another instant kill. Zapdos, so scary. When Wang Lu thinks that Salamence will be as powerful as Zapdos normal in the future, or even stronger, he can't help but get excited. He will add another Mega General to his command. Hiss! Seeing that Hydreigon was defeated in one round, Long Jian couldn't help but gasped. Actually, since the moment Zapdos flew in, Long Jian had never underestimated it, but he never expected that Zapdos would be so strong. It turned out to be an instant kill. His Pokémon is a mighty Hydreigon, not a cat or a dog. And with the fall of Hydreigon, he also lost the possibility of conquering Salamence, but he was not willing to leave. He has waited too long for this day, and has carefully planned one. Could it be that this is the end? Aren't you leaving? Wang Lu glanced at Longjian coldly, and stretched out his hand directly. The wave guide surged. In an instant, Wang Lu condensed an aura sphere the size of a football, and threw it towards the dragon sword. As Wang Lu took the initiative to use the wave guide, he gradually found that controlling the wave guide seemed easier and simpler. Especially, after obtaining the power to control the dragon. Because when using the power of the dragon, Wang Lu seems to have deepened the use of the power of the wave guide at the same time. The power of Yulong, the power of wave guide. Although these are two completely different abilities, they seem to be used in the same way, not much different, just a little different in detail. This is... Looking at the aura sphere that was flying towards it, Longjian was taken aback, and quickly crossed his hands to block. Boom! The aura sphere violently exploded on Longjian's arm, and Longjian's arms were instantly scorched black, and smoke and dust billowed up. Longjian also bared his teeth in pain, he roared unwillingly, and hurried away. That's aura sphere. Can humans use aura sphere too? Brother Wang Lu is really amazing. Alice looked at Wang Lu with admiration and even admiration, and instantly became Wang Lu's lost sister. I don't know why, maybe it's because Wang Lu possesses the power to control the dragon. As early as the first time Alice saw Wang Lu, she liked Wang Lu very much. Therefore, her name for Wang Lu changed unknowingly. As for Ash and Pikachu, needless to say, their eyes are shining with stars, and they adore Wang Lu extremely. After chasing away the dragon sword, Wang Lu walked towards Salamence single-handedly. Brother Wang Lu, it's dangerous! Alice yelled anxiously. However, in the next second, she was stunned. I saw. As Wang Lu gradually approached, the violent Salamence became more and more docile. Its eyes represented a crazy scarlet light, which disappeared without a trace in an instant. Ah! At this moment, the huge Salamence, like a child, rubbed against Wang Lu's hand with a big head on its head, constantly making roars full of security and joy. Even though it was the first time they met, Salamence fell in love with Wang Lu at first sight, because Wang Lu possesses a powerful power to control the dragon, which brings the feeling of dragon Pokémon, just like the dragon god normal. Brother Wang Lu is amazing. Even the mother-in-law is helpless, but Salamence recognized him instantly. Alice was taken aback, her small mouth opened into an O shape, and she adored Wang Lu more and more. It's really amazing. Pikachu, do you know? Mr. Wang Lu is my Pokémon master. At this time, Ash's admiration for Wang Lu is simply cast down. In my heart, I also quietly made an oath that I must aim at Wang Lu and become a Pokémon master. Chapter 47. Millennium Dragon Ball and Primordial Fossils. How about it, Salamence, will you follow me? Wang Lu asked while touching Salamenke's big head. Ouch! Salamence roared and nodded repeatedly, indicating that he was very willing. It is naturally talented and must be full of arrogance. If other trainers want to conquer it, they must at least defeat it with hard power. But facing Wang Lu, it has no bottom line at all. Not to mention how powerful Wang Lu is, even if Wang Lu is just a rookie trainer and doesn't have half the strength, he is still willing to follow him to the death. Because for him, following Wang Lu is like following the dragon god normal, which is a supreme honor. Zapdos, Electricity plus Flying, Golden Legend, Level 86, Elite. Salamence, Dragon plus Flying, Golden Legend, Level 68, Hall Owner. Celebi, Super plus Grass, Golden Legend, Level 41, Elite. Milotic, Water, Golden Epic, Level 56, Elite. Electabuzz, Electricity, Orange Selection, Level 59, Elite. Dratini, Dragon, Purple Excellent, Level 53, Elite. Axew, Dragon, Purple Excellent, Level 42, Elite. After glancing at the lineup of pets under his command, Wang Lu suddenly smiled with satisfaction. Obviously. His strength has become stronger again, and it has become much stronger. One thing is very important. His Salamence is by no means inferior to Zapdos or Celebi, and under the control of his dragon controlling power, it will only be stronger. But he can show it boldly and confidently as a clear card, that is, an upright trump card. Others will be surprised by the strength of this Salamence, but they won't care too much. After all, it only has bloodline strength comparable to that of a divine beast, but is not a divine beast in the true sense. In terms of rarity alone, it is still far less precious than a divine beast. As for Zapdos and Celebi, if they are really exposed, it will definitely cause shock and cause some unnecessary trouble. If possible, Wang Lu should show it as little as possible. After all, he has to keep some cards in hand. At present, in the real world, apart from Wang Lu himself, there are only 3 people who know about the existence of Zapdos and Celebi. One is Mirong Bai, and the other 2 are Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai. There is no need for Wang Lu to worry about the latter 2. As for Mirong Bai's words, before, Wang Lu left Mirong Bai on a desert island overseas, which was a warning. I believe Mirong Bai would not be so ignorant. And even if Mirong Bai was really ignorant, it wouldn't be that easy for him to come back from a deserted island overseas. And Wang Lu's system is with him. Before Mirong Bai comes back, he might have subdued another powerful mythical beast. So what's the point of being afraid? But just to be on the safe side, tonight, Wang Lu plans to buy a few rare candy and beat Zapdos to the championship first. Also worth mentioning, in this world, there is no strict rule that trainers can only carry 6 Pokémon at the same time. You can carry as many as you want. Of course, Alliance officials, as well as champions and elites everywhere, will strongly recommend that you carry up to 6 Pokémon at the same time. After all, human energy is limited. Without a system, I believe no one can breed more than a dozen or even dozens of Pokémon at the same time. It's simply impossible to do. Instead of seeing one and catching one, and then cultivating one, and finally leading to the mediocrity of all, it's better to concentrate your limited energy and cultivate a dozen main Pokémon with different attributes. That's enough. Certainly, Wang Lu owns the system, it doesn't matter at all. Even if there are more Pokémon in the future, they can still be kept in the copy that has been cleared. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully clearing the copy of Dragon Nest and rewarding the Millennium Dragon Ball and Ancient Fossils. As the system prompt sounded in his ears, a warm ruby Dragon Ball and a bright mysterious amber immediately appeared in Wang Lu's system space. Millennium Dragon Ball, after taking the Dragon Pokémon, its talent and potential will be greatly improved. The lower the talent, the better the effect after taking it, and the Golden Legend is invalid. In addition, after taking Aerodactyl, it will actually be revived to become the Ancient Totem. Prime Ancient Fossil, Amber that seals the Ancient Totem gene. When he first saw the Millennium Dragon Ball, Wang Lu subconsciously prepared to throw it to Salamence, but stopped in a hurry when he saw that the Golden Legend was ineffective. Since the Golden Legend is not enough, it is also possible to give it to Dratini or Axew. I believe that after taking the Millennium Dragon Ball, they will evolve into Dragonite and Haxorus in the future, and they will definitely become Golden Legends, as powerful as Salamence. But Wang Lu gave up anyway. Because according to the introduction of the system, the effect seems to be better if the Millennium Dragon Ball is taken by Aerodactyl. It says that if Aerodactyl is taken, it will be truly revived and become the Ancient Totem. To know, Aerodactyl was in ancient times, then it was not Aerodactyl, it was a pterosaur, a real pterosaur. The ancient pterodactyl. It was only after hundreds of millions of years passed that the ancient pterosaur became a fossil. Even if it was revived, it would only be an Aerodactyl, not a ferocious ancient pterosaur. And this Millennium Dragon Ball seems to be able to really revive Aerodactyl. Dream back to hundreds of millions of years ago, and become an ancient pterosaur again. Evolution. Or rather, return to primal. Awesome. Wang Lu also looked forward to it. As for Aerodactyl, this primordial fossil, revived through the fossil resurrection machine, should be able to become Aerodactyl. And this is a gift from the system. It is believed that the Aerodactyl resurrected from this ancient fossil should have high qualifications. Then let him take the Millennium Dragon Ball, return to primal, reverse evolution, and become an ancient pterosaur. Perfect. As for the fossil resurrection machine, Mom and Dad's laboratory should have it. After the game is over tomorrow, I'll go and have a look. Wang Lu made up his mind. After the dungeon was cleared, or in other words, after the Dragon Garden returned to tranquility, Alice left with satisfaction, and started traveling again with Ash. Then, the copy of Dragon Nest became Wang Lu's private copy. Yes. Wang Lu tested it many times. As long as it is a copy that has been cleared, all the NPCs will leave, and at the same time, no new NPCs will come in. Doesn't this become Wang Lu's private copy? Except for the Cerulean Gym, which is a gym after all. Wang Lu also visited many times for testing before, and the 3 Cerulean sisters are still there, only Misty left. Chapter 48. Upgrade. Evolution. There are 2 main groups in Dragon Garden. One is the tribe of Salamence, and the other is the tribe of Hydreigon. Certainly. Among these 2 groups, there are relatively few Pokémon in the final form, that is, Salamence and Hydreigon, and they are mainly the little guys of the first stage and the second stage. Everyone come out. Wang Lu released all the Pokémon under his command at one time, and then ordered everyone to move freely. Wang Lu put more attention on Axu. After all, this little guy is the weakest Pokémon under his command. Axu, unleash sword dance and show me. Wang Lu knelt down, touched Axu's head and said. While talking, Wang Lu backed away to make room for Axu to perform. I saw Axu raised his claws high and spun around quickly. When it stopped and stood firmly, a golden light rose from under his feet, and his strength and momentum rose sharply. Very good, quite skilled. Wang Lu praised it, and through this little detail, he knew that this Axu was a warlike Pokémon. If it doesn't have rich combat experience, how can it have such a high proficiency in sword dance with only an Axu? Axu, remember this feeling. In battle, you have to remember to use sword dance more to improve your attack power and morale. Wang Lu instructed. After Axu nodded to express his understanding, Wang Lu immediately chose a Bagon for Axu as rival. Sword dance plus Dragon Claw. This Axu is really smart, and it can do anything. A set of combo skills is used, and the effect is outstanding. It immediately knocked out the Bagon on the opposite side. Under the watchful eyes of Wang Lu, Axu was full of fighting spirit. When it killed 10 dragon Pokémon in a row, a strong and dazzling white light suddenly burst out from its body. This is the light of evolution. When the light dissipated, Axu successfully evolved into Fracture. This Fracture has golden skin all over its body. It is much stronger than its peers, and its aura is obviously stronger. The level of this Axu itself is not low, it is 42 levels, which has already surpassed the lowest level of evolution. Now, after killing rival again and again, and accumulating a lot of confidence, this evolution is nothing but a natural one. Wang Lu didn't have any surprises, and then glanced at Fracture's attribute panel. Fracture. Attribute, Dragon. Level 43, Elite. Qualification, Orange. Physical attack skills, Bite, Crunch, Slash, Dragon Claw, Outrage. Special attack skill, Dragon Wave. Change skills, Taunt, Grimace, Laser Focus, Sword Dance. Very well, Fracture, just keep up your momentum and keep working hard. Wang Lu patted Fracture's head as encouragement, and at the same time, took out a white dragon tooth and gave it to Axu. Dragon tooth, after carrying it, the power of dragon skills increases by 20%. Looking at the white dragon tooth in his hand, Fracture was a little surprised, and quickly carried it. As a dragon Pokémon, most wish to have a dragon tooth. However, its status in Dragon Valley was not high before, and it was not even eligible to enter Dragon Garden, so naturally it was not eligible to own dragon teeth. But now, Wang Lu gave it a dragon tooth, which was a great encouragement to it. Although Dragon Nest is the home of some dragon Pokémon, Dragon Nest is not only dragon Pokémon. In Dragon Garden, there will also be some Butterfree or something. As for the various Pokémon in the valley outside and the forest on the edge, there are more. Zapdos are as powerful and aggressive as ever. When it flies out of the garden, it will be a large area in a second, gaining a lot of experience, and bursting out a lot of items at the same time. Wang Lu followed behind Zapdos, constantly picking up items. To be honest, Wang Lu didn't want to pick up many repetitive items, such as evolution stones or skill machines. Fortunately, the system has also updated the item recycling function, so Wang Lu sold many duplicate props and skill machines to the system in exchange for Xia coins. Now, the Xia currency in Wang Lu's account has exceeded 300 million. You know, this is a lot of money. Just like Wang Lu's parents, double professors, are already considered upper class. However, the annual salary of Wang Lu's family is only tens of millions. After so many years, parents may have accumulated hundreds of millions of assets. But Wang Lu made more than 300 million yuan after just brushing the dungeon for a few days. The gap between them is not insignificant. It is clear. In this life, Wang Lu has far surpassed the achievements of his parents. With so much money, Wang Lu also plans to buy his own mansion and luxury car. Although these homes have them, Wang Lu feels that they are not up to date. With Wang Lu's current strength, he is fully qualified to enjoy a higher quality of life. Tired of picking up, Wang Lu went offline directly to rest. Anyway, the system will not refresh those things that explode. As long as Wang Lu doesn't pick them up, they will exist forever. Early the next morning, Wang Lu went to Dragon Valley to pick up things, but there was still nothing particularly rare. The most precious thing, that is, rare candy, there are only 8 pieces in total. After seeing Wang Lu coming, the pets quickly surrounded him. Zapdos, Salamence, Celebi, Mitsumi, Electabuzz, Fracture, Dratini. Oh no! Wang Lu glanced over and found that Dratini had evolved into Dragonair. Congratulations, Dragonair! Wang Lu walked over with a smile and stretched out his hand to stroke Dragonair's head. Dragonair seemed very happy and kept rubbing his head against Wang Lu while shouting happily. There are only 8 rare candies in total, and the pets are all looking at them eagerly, especially Salamence and Fracture, which have never been eaten before, and they are unbearably drooling. Good. Rare candy is also called strange sweets, not only has the effect of upgrading, but also its texture, aroma, and taste are all excellent. For Pokémon, it is even more inexplicably attractive. In the future, if Wang Lu's rare candy has spares, maybe it can be used to seduce divine beasts. Welcome new members to join. Wang Lu still took out 2 rare candies and handed them to Salamence and Fracture respectively. As for the remaining 6, they all fell into Zapdos' mouth. Electabuzz, do you want to gain more power? At this time, Wang Lu took out an electric booster, looked at Electabuzz and asked. Electabuzz is very aggressive, and the current level has exceeded level 60, reaching the level of the host. Wang Lu felt that it was time for it to evolve again. Chapter 49. The quarterfinals begins, Wang Lu appears. Just when Wang Lu just took out the power booster, Electabuzz's eyes were completely attracted. It can feel the powerful power contained in the power booster, and it seems to know that this thing can help itself break through. So, he nodded without hesitation. Very good. Wang Lu smiled slightly, walked over and handed the power booster to Electabuzz. After a few seconds, Electabuzz evolved into Electivire in a dazzling white light. Ding, congratulations, Electabuzz has evolved into Electivire. Ding, Electivire has learned a new skill Body Slam. Ding, Electivire has learned a new skill Giga Impact. Ding, Electivire has learned a new skill Volt Switch. Electivire. Attribute, Electricity. Level, Level 64, Library Owner. Qualification, Light Gold. Physical attack skills, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Brick Break, Iron Tail, Body Slam, Giga Impact. Special skills, Shock Wave, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Volt Switch. Change skills, Charge, Thunder Wave, Noise, Protect, Light Screen. After evolution, Electabuzz became bigger and stronger. Especially a pair of arms became very thick. Even the tail is divided into 2, becoming more flexible and full of strength. Due to the change in size, Electivire has upgraded its power, and its physical attacks have become more powerful. Although Electivire and Zapdos are both electrical systems, they are good at different things. Electivire is good at physical attacks, while Zapdos is good at special attacks. Very good, it looks more domineering. Looking at the Electivire, Wang Lu nodded in satisfaction. Because his Electivire is a shiny Pokémon with dark golden skin, it looks cooler and more domineering than the normal Electivire. Just like the Black Overlord, his whole body is full of absolute power. Zapdos, Electric plus Flying, Golden Legend, Level 92, Champion. Salamence, Dragon plus Flying, Golden Legend, Level 70, Quasi Elite. Celebi, Super Power plus Grass, Golden Legend, Level 55, Elite. Electivire, Electricity, Golden Epic, Level 64, House Owner. Milotic, Water, Golden Epic, Level 62, House Owner. Dragonair, Dragon, Orange Chosen, Level 58, Elite. Fracture, Dragon, Orange Chosen, Level 48, Elite. Tisk Tisk Tisk, luxurious. Taking a final look at his pet lineup, Wang Lu nodded in satisfaction. Afterwards, they took back the pets, exited the dungeon, washed up and went to the academy to participate in the competition. Xianyuan College, Dome Stadium, is very popular. The top 8 freshmen have all been born. In the next quarter-finals, players from both sides will enjoy the entire stadium. The venue is extremely huge and they can play to their heart's content. At the same time, from the quarter-finals, it is no longer the previous 3v3, but the 6v6 full battle. Xianyuan City, Tianhu Laboratory. Hongguang, just now the college called, saying that our son has advanced to the top 8 in this freshman competition. Wearing a white coat, Tianhui hurried over and looked at Wang Hongguang with joy. However, before she finished speaking, she was interrupted impatiently by Wang Hongguang. Nonsense, don't you see whose son he is? There was some pride in his tone, but that was the extent. After all, it's just the top 8. My son has advanced to the quarter-finals, and today is the quarter-finals. Just tell me whether you want to go and watch it. Tianhui asked with squinting eyes. Wang Hongguang couldn't help being startled, and immediately stopped what he was doing. Isn't the freshman competition over yet? He thought that the freshman competition was over. In that case, Wang Lu would only reach the top 8 in the end. Although the top 8 is not bad, it is not the kind of achievement worth bragging about. If you are the champion or runner-up, it will be completely different. Tianhui smiled and said, it's definitely not over, it hasn't started yet, and the college also said that our son is one of the 3 strongest in the quarter-finals, and he is very likely to be ranked first among the freshmen. Wang Hongguang couldn't help but smile on his face. Then what are you waiting for? Quick, get ready, we will set off in 5 minutes. When Wang Lu learned that his parents were coming to watch the game to support him, Wang Lu was about to play, so he could only ask Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai to help support his parents. Uncle and aunt? Zhao Hongii and Cao Lai shouted sweetly. Hello. Aunt Liang, you are Xiao Lu's senior sister, right? You look so beautiful. As soon as Tianhui saw Zhao Hongii, she immediately smiled, and all kinds of greetings began. After all, in her opinion, Wang Lu is not young anymore, and it is almost time to find a partner. As for Zhao Hongii, although he is slightly older than Wang Lu by 2 years, he is very beautiful and has a very extraordinary conversation. At a young age, it is said that he is still the gym trainer of Xianyuan Gymnasium, and his future is limitless. Such a talented and beautiful girl is more than enough to match her family's silly son. Zhao Hongii was overwhelmed by flattery, and was made uncomfortable by Tianhui's praise. Auntie, I'm afraid you don't know how good your silly son is. If you want to find a daughter-in-law, how can it be my turn? Zhao Hongii sighed in her heart, facing Wang Lu, she even felt a little inferior. Wang Lu! 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 The royal father and queen mother had just sat down and were suddenly startled. As Wang Lu entered the stage, the auditorium suddenly boiled, and countless fans were shouting Wang Lu's name frantically. As if, Wang Lu is not a student, but a big celebrity normal. The royal father and queen mother were surprised and happy. At the same time, I couldn't help but worry a little, is my son really that awesome? Can he really afford the support of so many people and such high popularity? Okay, next is the 6v6 full battle between Wang Lu and Mu Yifeng. Wang Lu, please attack first, said the host holding the microphone. Dragonair, the decision is yours. Wang Lu immediately sent out the first Pokémon. Has Dratini evolved? Many people at the scene were surprised. Student Wang Lu's Dragonair was very powerful as early as Dratini's time. Now that it has evolved, its strength must have reached a new level. Staring at the Dragonair on Wang Lu's field, Mirong Shui's eyes flickered. She had already advanced to the top 4 ahead of Wang Lu. Nowadays, she has already regarded Wang Lu as her strongest enemy. Dragonair? As long as it's not Dragonite, it's not worth mentioning. In another corner of the auditorium, Lei Jian smiled dismissively. He simply dismisses the strength Wang Lu has shown so far. Perhaps, Wang Lu still has hidden strength. Doesn't his Thunder Sword have hidden strength? Always. Lei Jian didn't pay too much attention to Wang Lu, he always felt that the audience overrated Wang Lu, and the real rival in his heart was Mirong Shuet. Chapter 50. Dragonair vs Dragon Slayer Warrior. It has evolved into Dragonair, it seems my preparations were not in vain. Looking at the Dragonair on Wang Lu's field, Mu Yifeng smiled slightly, took out a pokeball and threw it out. Go, my Dragon Slayer Warrior. With a flash of white light, a chubby blue water rabbit appeared on Mu Yifeng's field. Dragon Slaying Warrior, Azumarill. Azumarill. Attribute, Water plus Fairy. Level 42, Elite. Qualification, Purple. Azumarill has Fairy's attribute, which is directly immune to dragon skills. In terms of attribute, it can be said to be very cantronic. But on this alone, Azumarill is not enough to be called a dragon warrior. The point is, Azumarill has the Hercules ability, which doubles physical attack. Frozen Fist with one hand, teaching dragons to be human, no, to be a dragon. Frozen Fist of the Ice system, at the same time Conti flying, ground, grass, and dragon. 4 flying dragons like Dragonite, Salamence. 4 earth dragons like Garchomp and Flygon, the effect is mega, and the damage is quadruple. As for Mu Yifeng's Azumarill, it looks very strong, with piercing eyes, it is probably the Azumarill of the Hercules ability. And only Azumarill of Hercules ability is qualified to be a dragon slayer. Otherwise, it would be difficult for normal Azumarill to break through the dragon Pokémon. Haha, dragon slaying warrior. Do you think my Dragonair only has dragon skills? Dragonair, use Thunderbolt. Wang Lu gave an order. Heard the words. Dragonair immediately released a powerful thunder shock from the dragon's horn, crushing the air all the way, and drew it straight towards the opposite Azumarill. Facing Wang Lu's attack, Mu Yifeng did not panic, but laughed proudly. Haha, I knew you could use Thunderbolt. Azumarill, use Dig Burrow. As soon as he finished speaking, there was a bang, Azumarill dug a big hole, and his body sank into the ground. This makes Dragonair's Thunderbolt useless. Digging a hole very quickly. Wang Lu's eyes froze, and the scene was full of excitement. Waveguide Surge. At this moment, a powerful waveguide burst out from Wang Lu's body, covering the entire arena in an instant, forming a waveguide magnetic field. And within this waveguide magnetic field, Wang Lu directly locked on the position of Azumarill. And through the power of dragon control. At this time, Wang Lu and Dragonair faintly reached the realm of spiritual communication. The moment Wang Lu released the waveguide magnetic field, Dragonair also directly locked on Azumarill's position underground. Haha, Azumarill, use Freeze Punch to kill it. Following Mu Yifeng's order, Azumarill suddenly broke through the ground, and with a freezing fist, he slammed towards Dragonair viciously. However, Dragonair had already detected its every move through the waveguide, and was already on guard. The next moment it ducked, it easily avoided the attack. What a quick reaction, how is this possible? Mu Yifeng was taken aback, and even Azumarill was stunned. Use Thunderbolt. With Wang Lu's order, Dragonair immediately issued a thunder shock, which slammed on Azumarill's body. Electricity counters water, the effect is outstanding, and it directly kills Azumarill with one move. Azumarill is out of combat. Host announced. Amazing. Both Wang Hongguang and Tian Hui kept their eyes on the field. For a moment, my eyes were dazzled and unbelievable. Back when they knew Wang Lu had Mitsumi, had Dratini, they thought that Wang Lu might have a strong trainer talent. But they never expected that in just a few days, Wang Lu had completely transformed that talent into such a terrifying strength. Does Wang Lu in front of you look like a rookie trainer? However, they knew that Wang Lu was indeed just a rookie trainer who had just debuted. This can only show that their son Wang Lu is a genius. You know, the growth rate and evolution rate of dragon Pokémon are quite slow. Wang Hongguang looked at Tian Hui and said with a smile, but in just a few days, he has already evolved Dratini, so it can be seen that our precious son really has an extremely rare talent and ability in the profession of trainer. Tian Hui just smiled, but there was joy that couldn't be hidden on her face. It is said that a child will become a dragon. The son is so good and outstanding, why are they unhappy as parents? Come back Azumarill, go, Snorlax. Mu Yifeng immediately dispatched a second Pokémon, which turned out to be a Snorlax. How to say? Mu Yifeng, does he like fat Pokémon so much? Snorlax. Attribute, normal. Level, 48, elite. Qualification, Orange. It turned out to be an orange qualification. Glancing at the attribute panel of Snorlax, Wang Lu's heart trembled. As a normal Pokémon, Snorlax has few weaknesses, only fighting. And Snorlax is extremely frank and easy to stand on the field, so as long as the attack surface is expanded, it can be regarded as a very powerful Pokémon. Not to mention, Mu Yifeng's Snorlax also has an orange quality. Dragonair, use Dragon Wave. Wang Lu took the initiative again. Heard the words. Dragonair immediately opened its mouth to spit out a huge dragon-shaped wave, and blasted towards Snorlax with its fangs and claws. Snorlax normal is not good at speed. So Mu Yifeng didn't give the order to dodge, because even if he gave the order, Snorlax would most likely not be able to dodge. Boom! The dragon wave fluctuated, ruthlessly pounced on Snorlax's round belly, and exploded. Carby. However, Snorlax didn't react at all, just stretched out his paws around his stomach, as if scratching normal. The special defense is too scary. Wang Lu's heart trembled. If this is the case, he can only risk using physical attacks. Dragonair, use Dragonair to dive. Call out. Following Wang Lu's order, Dragonair immediately flew up, with an astonishing murderous aura bursting out of his body, and slammed into Snorlax fiercely. You must know that the Dragon God's dive can release an astonishing murderous aura, so there is a certain chance that rival will fall into fear of the contest condition, so that he cannot take action, and can only stand there and be hit. However, facing the astonishing murderous aura unleashed by Dragonair, Snorlax still didn't react at all. But even so, it still didn't move, and there was no intention of dodging at all. Good, Snorlax. Mu Yifeng clenched his fist fiercely, and said, just take its attack like this, and then, use the freezing fist.